Yesterday, thanks to some early two-out clutch hitting. Now the Tribe will try to break out against Japanese phenom Yu Darvish. Josh Tomlin gets the assignment next on Sports Time Ohio. Today in Goodyear, Arizona, it's spring training baseball as the Cleveland Indians take on the Texas Rangers, and we'll see the highly touted 25-year-old Japanese import Yu Darvish on the mound today for the Texas Rangers. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Of course, that's a big storyline today. But when we talk about the Cleveland Indians, one guy in particular they're going to be watching today is Shin-Soo Choo. He's off to a great start this spring, hitting .357. But this is a guy who really seems to be a man on a mission this year.
Well, he really does, Matt, and he's been swinging the bat very well. He's one guy, when healthy, the ball just jumps off his bat. He's back to normal. He's very healthy. He's been playing good defense. That's what you expect from Shin-Soo Choo. He should be the number 3 hitter for Maniacta, and he looks very, very good this spring.
All right, so I mentioned Yu Darvish will pitch today for Texas. On the other side, for the Indians, it's going to be Josh Tomlin, a 12-game winner a year ago, and nobody was more consistent throughout the season than Josh Tomlin.
Well, Josh, so consistent. He's a strike-throwing machine. He goes out there, he makes the hitters put the ball in play. He will give up some home runs. They seem to be solo home runs, but 12 wins last year. I see him penciled into the number 3 spot this year into the rotation.
It's another beautiful day here in Goodyear, Arizona. We're back with spring training baseball coming up next. Picture perfect day here in Goodyear, Arizona. Indians and Rangers all set to square off. Texas, the defending American League champions. Back-to-back seasons. Trying to rebound from really just a crushing defeat at the hands of the St. Louis Cardinals in last year's Fall Classic. Here is Ron Washington's starting 9. It's Craig Gentry, Yangervis Solarte, David Murphy, Connor Jackson, Mitch Moreland, Yorvi Torrealba, Angel Beltre, Luis Hernandez, and Mike Holt.
Not the lineup you expect to see when you talk about the Texas Rangers.
That was not the team that won the back-to-back American League championships.
No, sirree.
And a first pitch in there to Craig Gentry for ball 1, the center fielder.
And that was a rarity for Josh Tomlin, ball 1. Boy, last year so many times he came out of the chute. It was strike one and just pounding the strike zone throughout the game.
Gentry lays down a bunt. Tomlin fields his position well. Low throw dug out nicely by Jose Lopez for out number one.
Check out the Tribe defense behind Josh Tomlin this afternoon. It's going to be Lewis in left field, Brantley in center, Chu is in right, Hanahan at third, Cabrera at short, Kipnis is at second, Lopez gets the start at first, Lou Marson behind the plate. The numbers for Josh a year ago as his season was shut down through the month of September with some elbow issues. But everything seems to be back to normal. There's really nothing structurally wrong with him.
Pitch down low to Yangervis Solarte, Venezuelan native. Grew up primarily in the Twins organization. Takes a strike over the outside corner. Spent 6 years with the Twins organization. Hammer to first, and Lopez does it again, out number two. Take a look at the man umpiring today's ball game. Tony Randazzo behind the plate, then on the bases as they rotate around. Alan Porter, Tyler Funeman, and Hal Gibson. Here's David Murphy. A little bit outside. Thirty-year-old David Murphy entering his 6th year with Texas. You talk about versatility. This guy can play all the outfield positions, runs well.
Well, and always seems to do well against the Indians. But then again, you could say that about the whole Texas Ranger team. You know, the Indians were 1-9 against the Rangers last year. But this guy's a nice fill-in player. You find a way to get him at bats.
Popped him up. Shallow center. Michael Brantley puts it away, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Josh Tomlin. Now we'll see Yu Darvish face the Indians when we return to Goodyear. Take a look at Manny Acta's starting 9 today for the Cleveland Indians. Michael Brantley leading off in center field as Drupal Cabrera, the shortstop, batting second, and Shin-Soo Choo having a hot spring, followed by Travis Hafner, Jose Lopez, then Jason Kipnis, Fred Lewis, Jack Hanahan, and Lou Marson. Yu Darvish, native of Osaka, Japan, 25 years old. Spent 7 years in the Japanese Pacific League and twice was named most valuable player.
Ended up winning 93 games in those 7 years. But that's a rarity here when you see a starting pitcher pitching from the stretch. He's a big guy, 6'5".
In his 7-year career, Rick, he won 93 games and had a 1.99 ERA.
Yeah. Well, this is a different league over here.
Sure.
We're going to see better hitters and a lot of things. He's going to end up pitching in a ballpark there in Texas. Not a good swing for a 2-0 count right there. But, you know, he's going to have to keep the ball down. That ball really flies in Arlington. It's a tough ball yard to pitch in, but they went after him. They acquired him. #1 pitcher that people were looking at as a starter, Japanese style.
Now the 2-1. And it runs away from Brantley. 3 balls and a strike.
You know, they say the scouting report on him, he throws maybe 6 or 7 different pitches, but it's like the fastball, he'll throw a 2-seamer. He'll have variations off it. He'll have a slider, and he can take a little off. He has a straight change and like a splitter for a changeup. So he has, you know, a number of different pitches. But you still have to throw him for strikes.
And he misses. Ball 4. Walks the first man here he faces. Brantley down to first. And it will bring up Asdrubal Cabrera.
Well, there's the numbers on the 25-year-old for the 7-year, 2-time MVP in the Pacific League, 5-time All-Star. Some very good numbers. But you'll have to see how it translates over here. You remember all the only thing we can compare it to was Dice K when he came over and signed with the Boston Red Sox. Remember, he had the gyro ball they talked about. He was a nibbler. This guy's supposed to be a little more aggressive.
Up high, ball 1. Well, Darvish will become the 6th Japanese pitcher to toe the rubber for Texas. Hideki Arabu.
Remember him.
Akinori Otsuka. Most notably, Kenji Uhara, also in that list. Here's the set by Yu Darvish. The runner goes. It's up high, and the throw down. Got him. Yorvi Torrealba throws out Michael Brantley.
Well, and I think right there, Michael just taking off, running on his own. But right now, see, he had an average jump. Head straight down, straight steal. He's having a tough time finding the strike zone. But I guess when you get the opportunities and you get on in spring training, you want to try and steal someone you can. But he was thrown out by Torrealba. But he's
3
all
balls,
over. Yeah,
no strikes.
A lot of times you don't want to run when a guy's struggling to find the strike zone. But in spring training, when you get the opportunity and you get on base, you want to take off. Because Michael may only have a couple at bats in this game, 2-3 at bats.
As Dribble turning it loose on that 3-0 pitch. And he misses with the fastball. He's walked the first 2. And with 1 out, that'll bring up Shin-Soo Choo.
And the Rangers defense is Murphy, Gentry, Beltre in the outfield. Alt, Hernandez, Solarte, and Moreland on the infield with Torrealba behind the plate.
Here is Choo batting .357 on the spring.
Here's a big slow curveball.
So we've seen a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, now a 67-mile-an-hour breaking ball.
Well, nice variance, but I'm sure he throws his slider much harder. But you know, you start hitters off with that big slow hook. You've never faced them before.
Missed with that curve, and it's 1-1. Shin-Soo Choo, a season derailed last year by injury. Fouled back. And now the count 1-2. Choo, though, very, very determined to have a bounce back year.
Well, if he stays healthy, Matt, I think he's going to. He'll get back to the numbers that he is capable of putting up, the 300, the 20, stealing 20. You can't doubt him. He just had a bad year last year.
Cabrera takes off. It's outside. And this throw, well, they punch him out. It looked like he was in there safely. But that is 2 caught stealing in the inning now by Jorvik Torrealba.
Well, on a breaking ball, he's about 1-5 to home plate. Now, Cabrera's not the quickest or best base stealer in the world, and they did get him. The throw was on the other side of the bag, but the tag comes out before his leg gets to the base. They throw him out. So the 2 walks, all for naught, because they were thrown out trying to steal.
Now, a 2-2 pitch to Chu. Full count. Chu has seen a lot of off-speed pitches in this at-bat, and the 3-2 is a breaking ball down, and he chases after it. So Darvish gets the strikeout, bailed out a couple of times by his catcher, and we are scoreless after 1. No score, second inning here in Goodyear. Connor Jackson, Mitch Moreland, and Jorvik Torrealba due up for Texas. Josh Tomlin set him down 1-2-3 in the first inning. And a sky-high pop on the infield. Cabrera and Hanahan both looking up into that sun, and as Drubel takes it for out number 1. Our spring training news and notes brought to you by Taco Bell and the new Doritos Loco Tacos. It's crazy good. For the Tribe, Rafael Perez threw a bullpen session yesterday. That's good news as he's trying to get back from the shoulder problems he's had. And Casey Kochman, according to today's notes, listed as day-to-day with tightness in his lower back. Now Mitch Moreland looks at a ball low and away. Out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, I guess Tomlin would be a tough guy when you go on pitch counts like so many pitchers do here in spring training to get your work in. Because this guy throws a lot of strikes. You know, normally if he's going to throw his 50 pitches or whatever, he might be able to go 5 innings at times. Because a lot of hitters know Josh now and they get aggressive early in the count. So to get his work, he may have an opportunity to go more innings.
Bounce to first,
which you love.
2 down. Well, I mean, the name of the game in pitching is to make the hitter put it in play, and as few pitches as possible.
And he was so fun to watch last year. I mean, the thing that you have to do when he gets to that about 85 pitch count in the course of a game, you watch out. But he's unlike a lot of pitchers where he's through the lineup almost for the third time when that happens. This is a guy just believes in pounding the strike zone. He can do it. He sinks it. He cuts it. He throws the changeup, the curveball. Really keeps hitters off stride. He can throw all 4 pitches to all 4 locations. Up and in, up and away, down and in, down and away. And really, that's the art of pitching, is keeping the hitters off balance. He fields his position well, and he holds runners beautifully, because not one guy last year attempted a stolen base when Josh Tomlin was on the mound. As a right-hander, I find that impossible.
Now the 1-1. Tap foul. I'm just thinking about how difficult he makes it on a hitter, because when you're talking about pounding the strike zone, you're talking about pounding with quality strikes. So it's
right.
It's down, it's at the knees, but it's on the outside corner. It's maybe belt high, but it's right in on your thumbs. And
well, yeah, he finds a way to get inside on the bat or off the end of the bat, and like, he will give up a lot of home runs, but a lot of them are solo home runs.
Nice effort by Jason Kipnis, but didn't quite get to it. And Yorvi Torrealba,
boy, that's where you,
out single.
When you're a defender, you're running after that ball, and it's like that ball's going in slow motion. He did everything he could. He just got enough of it. He was fooled on the pitch off the end of the bat, and he had a beat on it. He just couldn't catch up to it. Just misses it by about a foot, but good attempt.
So 2 down, and a runner at first for Angel Beltre.
Yeah, we saw the Beltre in the lineup. You thought it was going to be Adrian.
Down the line, fair ball into the corner. Yorvi Torrealba, the catcher. He's going to be waved home. Kipnis relayed to the plate, and he is safe. Throw just a little bit high and up the line. Marson did a nice job of going up and getting it. But Torrealba comes home safely, and it's a 1-0 Texas lead with a 2-out RBI triple here in inning number 2.
Well, that ball, it hit something down the line, and it kicked back into fair territory, and it tricked Chu. He was going to try and cut it off going into the corner. I want to see where it hits. It deflects off that fence. You see it come all the way back, and it turned him around. Even though he got the ball to Kipnis in a hurry, the relay throw home for Torrealba. He will score from first base because the throw was offline, and Texas takes a 1-0 lead.
Hernandez taps one to second, and that'll end the inning. But the Rangers strike with 2 outs here in the second. They lead it 1-0. Back here on another beautiful day in Goodyear, Arizona. Rangers with a 1-0 lead over the Indians. We go to the bottom of the second inning. Travis Hafner, Jose Lopez, and Jason Kipnis due up. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you, and we're happy to be joined now by Indians pitcher Vinnie Pestano down in the Indians dugout. Vinny, how are you?
I'm doing good, guys. Waiting for this line drive to come flying at my face, but other than that, pretty solid.
Heads up down there with Pronk standing in. Rangers shift 3 on the right side of the infield. He takes a first pitch strike. Vinny, last year, I don't want to say it was something that came as a surprise, but what were your expectations going into the year, and then how did that play out against your expectations?
I think it all started at the end of 2010 when Manny and Chris told me I had a shot to make the big league club at a camp, and I worked all offseason to make sure that was a feasible goal for myself, and then came into camp, tried to have the best one that I could, and really when I ended up making the team, with Joe Smith's injury, I didn't know how long I was going to be up, so I just tried to make the most of my time and ended up getting that opportunity to stay up the whole year.
It's sort of funny how the game of baseball is. When you get that opportunity or that door that opens, you have to jump through it and take advantage of it. You certainly did, because you were the right-handed setup guy all year long.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really know when your opportunity is going to come, so you always try and be prepared. I'm just happy that I was able to get off to that good start and ended up having enough faith from Manny and the rest of the team to kind of solidify that role.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count here on Travis Hafner. Darvish deals. And Pronk pops it sky high on the right side of the infield.
Now we're good.
1 down. Vinny, we had Tony Sipp on yesterday, and he was saying that, his first time through the big leagues, the one thing that he didn't have going for him was knowing how hitters would react to his stuff, knowing how they would that match up against some of his pitches. So going through it for the first time last year, I mean, you were 5th among relief pitchers and strikeouts. Did you sort of have that same kind of feeling like, well, I don't know how these guys are going to react to it, so you just go at them and attack?
Yeah, I mean, I've only got 2 pitches, really, so I don't really have a whole lot of options. So it's kind of one of those me versus you type deals. I was going to let it ride as long as I could, and then once I would figure that people were catching up or started figuring out pitch sequences and stuff like that, try and mix it up. But I ended up in a position where, the righties weren't seeing me all that well last year, so lefties are a different story, but we worked on that this offseason and hopefully be better. But, it's just one of those things. Ever since I had surgery, coming back from that, I was a little tentative and kind of got my mindset from that, just being the fact that you didn't know if you were really 100% to let it fly kind of situation. So now it's just like I've only got, one opportunity, so I'm going to give it everything I have.
Vinny, when you talk about the righties and the lefties, right-handers always seem to be late on your fastball. I don't know if they have a tough time picking it up out of your hand or what. Do you think the left-handers see it a little bit better than the righties? And if you're going to try and get lefties out, what do you have to do? Maybe get inside on them with a fastball?
Yeah, lefties have seen me a lot better. I mean, ever since my arm shot's a little higher than it was from my sophomore in college up until a couple years ago. But lefties have always seen me better. I think it's just one of those things like Joe Smith and Matchman have some of the same problems. So I've talked to them a little bit about that and how they work, guys, even though our stuff's a little bit different. But I think the main thing for me is going to be locating my slider against them. I think towards the end of last season I did a real good job mixing that in a lot more and not relying on my fastball as much to left-handers because they see it a little bit better.
All right, because Joe Smith did a terrific job last year getting left-handers out, and he pitched them inside a little bit more. So you feel you've got to get your slider in on their hands?
Yeah, working a back foot slider, maybe backdooring a little bit. Also dropping it in there, early in the count when they're least expecting it. So you kind of, get that get me over in there just to put it in their head, also to get ahead in strikes.
Vinny, you've really taken to the social media network here in the offseason. You've interacted with fans quite a bit through your Twitter account. You having fun with that?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a great time ever since I've been on it, just kind of goofing around. I don't really, I don't really think it's, anything I'm trying to do on purpose. It's just one of those things where you just think it's something funny or something happens and, you end up tweeting about it and end up relating to a lot of people through it.
Brings up Fred Lewis with a runner at first and 2 down.
Well, how do you feel about the opportunity you could possibly be the closer if Chris Perez isn't ready for opening day?
Yeah, I mean, I'm preparing to be the setup man. I think Chris will probably be back by opening day. If I'm closing or I'm setting up, I don't think my mindset changes that much. You know, if it's a one-run game in the 8th or a one-run game in the 9th,
right.
My job's still to go out there and get 3 outs and preserve that win. So mentally, from a mental standpoint, I'm going to try not to do too much and stay within myself and do the best I can until Chris is healthy.
Vinny, how much talk was there before the game today just among players about you, Darvish? I mean, there's been so much talk about him around the game, and now that he's finally here in person, what's everybody's take on it?
I don't know. He's one of these Goodyear ballpark balls, so he's a little erratic early. You know, but it's always fun to see somebody that's got that talent level from overseas come over, and you don't really know what to think. And you know, he's kind of got that Asian pitching style, slow, kind of disrupts timing a little bit. He's pitching out of the stretch the entire game, noticed that. But as far as talking about early today, I was just playing cards for most of the day.
There's a sky-high pop.
Well, how'd you do? Did you win?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Who were the fish in the game?
I was a part of a couple different games here and there. You know, you do have to get a little bit of work in when you're at the yard. So, you know.
A little bit.
Popping back and forth. Tony Sipp and Trevor Crow beat me up earlier this morning pretty good, but I ended up getting back at Joe and Salazar earlier.
Okay, good for you.
So yeah. Joe Smith's the mark, huh? He's the guy.
Yeah, Joe's been wearing it pretty good today. He hasn't got that many good hands. So
what do you guys play? Spades, hearts? What do you play?
I play a game called Pluck. It's kind of like
Pluck.
Spades.
I got you.
Yeah, it's not a very well-known game outside of the baseball community, I don't think. But then again, who knows?
Vinny, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate your time. Best of luck to you this year.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
1-0 Texas after 2. Third inning here in Goodyear. And for the Rangers, Mike Olt will lead it off, followed by top of the order Craig Gentry and Jan Gervis Solarte. Josh Tomlin retired the first 5 in order before a 2-out bloop single by Yorvi Torrealba kept the second inning alive, and then Angel Beltre roped a triple into the corner.
Well, you can see how the Texas hitters are approaching Tomlin. Everyone trying to get after that first pitch. Yeah, he did. He sure did. All right, that's spring training form. All right, he did go. My eyes are ready.
Check that time. He did not go. 1-2 the count. Class A Myrtle Beach last year from Mike Olt. Yanked foul. Josh Tomlin a year ago, season shut down late in August with some elbow inflammation. There was definitely concern that maybe it was more serious than just that. Brantley, a long run back, can't get to it. And all the way to third goes Mike Olt. Big bolt. Leadoff triple.
He hit that ball deep in the strike zone and came back a little bit, but it really had good carry to it. We see it a lot of times in Arizona carry, but Brantley kept running. Watch where he muscles this ball. That ball got a little too much of the plate, but he put a good swing on it. And that had backspin on it, and it really took off to right center field, and Brantley never going to catch up to it. Out there near the Andy Marte sign in right center.
So here's Craig Gentry. Base hit in the left field, and Texas adds a run to their lead. It's now 2-0. Back-to-back hits for the Rangers to open the third.
There's the curveball upstairs a little bit. Gentry really stayed back on it nicely, found the hole between short and third. So Texas with 2 batters will take a 2-0 lead.
And Yangervis Solarte. Switch hitter stepping in as Tomlin fires to first to keep Gentry close.
Well, Gentry, a guy that is one of their backup center fielders. He can fly. He can run very well. That's why they have him at the top of the lineup. He bunted the first time. Good wheels.
High down the right field line. Chu, a long run. He's out of room, and it's out of here. Solarte, with his second home run on the spring, makes it 4-0 Texas, as they have erupted for a 3 spot here in the third.
Here's another pitch that's right there. He got that bat head out in front. It carried down the line. That's a little too much of the plate, so he's made a few mistakes catching too much of the plate. And Texas Rangers hitters have jumped on him. They're a double away from the cycle in this inning.
Now David Murphy flied to center his first time up. And a nice diving catch by Jose Lopez. That's the second time he's had a line drive hit at him. And that's the first out here in the inning.
Well, he had to range to his right. That ball hit on the nose as well, and takes one step and extends the arm out right at the tip of the first baseman's glove. Not much more room for the catch there, but a nice play.
Connor Jackson popped up on the infield his first time up, takes a strike. Down in the dirt. Connor Jackson was originally selected by the Cleveland Indians in the 26th round of the 2000 draft, but he did not sign. And then in 03, he was a first-round pick, 19th overall by the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Didn't he end his year with Boston last year?
Yes. Played 12 games for the Red Sox.
Yeah, I remember they tried to get him late in the year and
played the last couple
catch
of
a
years
little magic
with Oakland,
right?
Primarily. He had some very good years with Arizona early in his career. Bounce to third, backhanded by Hanahan. The long throw is high, and Lopez can't get it. So the error on Hanahan
Well, he planted and just tried to get a little too much on it. This guy normally very accurate on his throws to first, but this one brings Lopez off the bag over his head, and he will reach. Nice hustle there by Kipnis to back it up.
Hanahan committed 5 errors all season last year.
Yeah, he was about as solid as you can get over there at third base. Yeah, get him out of the way early.
Now I wonder, of those 5 errors last year, how many of those were throwing errors? So it seemed like if he got it in his glove, you were out.
Yeah, I'm saying one. You'd have to check.
1 on, 1 out here in the top half of the third. Rangers on top 4-0, and Mitch Moreland way out in front.
Pulls a string, good changeup.
Hanger, base hit into right field. Jackson's not going to test shoes on.
No, sir. You see, players respect it. He thought about going to third base, and he realized who was out there.
Or he saw the look of sheer terror in his third base coach's eyes, one or the other.
Well, right now you see this at bat, he's getting a little too much of the plate with his pitches. Even though that ball was off the end of the bat, it had enough of the plate where he was able to get it on the end. So Rangers already with 6 hits.
Maybe it's the uniforms. It doesn't matter who's wearing them. They just seem to wear out the Indians. Because, as we mentioned, this is not the primary Texas Ranger unit that we'll expect to see during the regular season. But, boy, they had their way with the Indians a season ago.
Yeah, we went down to Texas twice, and it was most end of the year. We only go down there once this year, thank goodness. They played very well in their home ballpark.
Yeah.
And it always seems to be that jet stream or a gust of wind blowing out to right center field. Great park to hit in.
Popped out of play. The Indians won't make a trip to Texas this year until September.
Right.
A 3-game series in the middle of the month. We'll see the Rangers in Cleveland end of May, early June, and again at the beginning of September. Interesting schedule this year for the Indians when you look at it top to bottom. I can't recall in my 13 years a schedule where the Indians will make 6 3-city road trips.
Yeah, that's a lot. And they will make their second trip out west, a full West Coast swing where you hit Seattle, Oakland, and Los Angeles all in the same trip. We haven't done that in years.
Long time, yeah.
But you look at it, I guess, starting the year out, you're going to have 81 home, 81 road.
That's right.
Just so happens, and it doesn't seem like we have 6 3-city homestands.
Long drive to left. That's going to short hop the wall. Jackson will score. Moreland will be held at third. And a double for Yorvik Torrealba, and Texas tattooing Josh Tomlin here in the third.
Well, they've officially hit for the cycle in the inning. That double caps it off. This inning started with a leadoff triple. They had a home run, a single, and there again, middle of the plate. Little two-seamer comes down and in. Torrealba drives it to left center field. But right now, Texas swinging the bats like they can do. It's a 5-0 ball game, and Scott Radinsky out to the mound to have a talk with Josh Tomlin.
Scott Radinsky taking over this year as pitching coach after Tim Belcher stepped down. Belch still with the Indians organization.
back to the role he held previously as a special assistant. And so Rad taking over at the helm after spending years in the bullpen as the bullpen coach. Very well respected among the pitching staff, top to bottom. Angel Beltre, he had the RBI triple down into the right field corner his first time up. Activity in the Indians bullpen. They'd like to get Tomlin through this inning, but he might reach his pitch count first. High fly ball, right center. Brantley makes the grab. Tagging and coming home is Moreland. Torrealba tags and goes to third, 2 down as Beltre picks up his second RBI in the game. Boys in the truck looked it up for us. Jack Hanahan's 5 errors last year. Only 1 of the 5 was a throwing error. So
yeah, he's so accurate. It's out of the way.
On the rare occasions that he even bobbles one.
Well, that one's out for the year. Now he's done. He's already made it. So you don't have to worry about it the rest of the year.
Rangers have batted around here in the inning. Luis Hernandez grounded out to end the second. Line drive, this one gets past Lopez. Hernandez with a base hit. Torrealba scores. It's a 6-run third inning for Texas.
Well, they have. He hasn't fooled many now. A lot of pitches up in the strike zone for Josh, and they are taking advantage of it. Another hit in the inning. 6 hits in the inning. And they have 6 runs as well.
Mike Olt started it with a triple over the head of Michael Brantley in deep center field. Drills one foul down the right side. Out of play. In there for a called strike. It's 0-2. Also scheduled to pitch today for the Indians, right-hander Zach McAllister, Hector Ambriz, Jenmar Gomez, and Chen Chang Lee. Just a little bit inside. 1-2. And now the count even up at 2-2. Little bit outside, full count.
Well, they've been hammering him, so he's going to try and hit the edges. So he's making sure if he misses, he's missing a little off the plate.
That fouled into the Rangers dugout, rattles around. One hopper to third. Hanahan pulls him off the bag. Lopez makes the tag, and that'll end the inning. A couple unearned runs, but Josh Tomlin, tough day at the ranch. 7-zip Texas, middle of the third. Back here in Goodyear, the Rangers have jumped out to a 7-0 lead going to the bottom of the third inning. It will be Jack Hanahan, Lou Marson, and Michael Brantley for the Trot. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you. And we're joined now by Ryan Spilborghs down in the Indians dugout for this home half of the third inning. Ryan, how are you?
I'm good. I'm actually hoping we can get a long inning right here so I can get some good FaceTime.
Well, how's it been for you so far? I mean, what, the first 10 years of your professional career spent with the Rockies organization, and now all of a sudden you wake up and you got different colors you're putting on every day.
Yeah, it's been a trip. You know, you played in this game for a while, and you know, you always hope you could stay with one team, but obviously it doesn't really work that way. You know, just going from one team to another is kind of an interesting transition, one that I've actually really looked forward to, and I've really enjoyed it so far.
Well, and it's your opportunity. You're trying to make this ball club as that maybe fourth outfielder, and you're getting an opportunity to try and play everywhere. You want to get out there and play every day if you can, don't you?
Oh, of course. I mean, you don't ever, you know, come into camp or, you know, pick up a ball and glove and bat, you know, just trying to be a fourth outfielder. You want to be a guy that goes out there every day, and especially in camp. You know, I know a lot of the coaching staff hasn't seen me play. So I'd obviously like to get as many at-bats as I can so I can show my approach and show how I can play baseball.
Darvish delivers, and Jack Hanahan pops it back out of play. Is it a little daunting, Ryan, when you come into a camp? A, you already know you're trying to make the club, and then B, you look and there aren't any empty lockers in that clubhouse. It's about as jammed as I've ever seen it in there.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. I mean, we have like 55 outfielders all trying to make two spots. So
yeah, that's what I mean. Trying to play every day, it's tough to get ABs here.
Yeah, it has been hard, and you know, my wife jokes around with me. She's like, "Will you please get more hits?" I was like, "Have you not seen my spring training career? I usually go for 10." So I mean, I'm playing on par right now.
Well, but you're still getting an opportunity, I guess, to face some guys that you're used to maybe in the National League because it's spring training, but you're going to end up changing leagues for the first time. Is that tough?
I don't. You know what? I look forward to it because obviously, you know, when teams on the other side don't know who you are, you get pitched, you know, kind of to a fastball, and I love fastballs. And you know, it's always an interesting challenge when you start seeing guys for the first time because you don't really know what they have. When I was in the National League, I knew pretty much every pitcher I was going to face, so I felt like I had an advantage there. But again, you kind of have an advantage when attaboy, Jackie.
Boy, Hanahan swats one to deep center. And Gentry misplayed it. He had it on a leaping attempt, but it's in and out of his glove, and now he crumples to the ground. He looks like he's in a lot of pain.
Yeah, he looks hurt.
Yeah, it looks like a shoulder maybe. He landed on it awkwardly. You can see he's holding it in.
He is hurting, and the training staff, unfortunately, is going to have to go out and check him out.
hopefully he just, knock
the wind out of himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, he's up and walking around. I don't see that arm holding in. I mean, this kid can run. He covered a lot of ground to get there, and he ends up diving for the ball. See how he lands here. Looks like he might have hyperextended that shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully not. You never want to see any injuries.
No, I know, but that arm is straight out. We're getting the replay right now, Ryan.
That did not look good.
No, I mean, it was straight out when he landed on it, so hopefully it was just the wind, but he's in a little bit of pain.
Ryan, you joked with us when you first came on about getting some FaceTime there.
Yeah, now I'm getting it, obviously, when someone's hurt. That's not what I wanted.
But I'm no stranger to Spill the Beans. I looked it up. I did my research. Your Spill the Beans segments when you were with the Rockies on the television side there, they were really very clever and very fun. Good dry sense of humor. Did you create that yourself, or was that somebody else's idea? How'd that come about?
Yeah, well, it's a blatant rip of Zach Galifianakis, and he does something called Between Two Ferns. Looks like they have an outfielder coming out to take his spot.
Yeah, they do.
But yeah, I got approached by the scoreboard staff, and they said, "Would you like to do something different?" And I said, "Sure. What am I going to do?" Like, well, you're going to interview your teammates and do it in this style. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, this will be great. I can crush my teammates.
Well, for fans who want to check it out, I think you can YouTube search it. Just do Spill the Beans and also type in Spilborghs, Spilborghs, and it's funny stuff. It really is.
Look at you. You're doing your homework, man.
Appreciate that. Yeah, hopefully I don't get you guys. If I get you guys, I'll blow you up.
It won't take much to blow us
Kipnis
up.
looking at me funny right now. He would be a prime candidate. I've been calling him a midget or cupcake the entire time we've been out here, and he would fit perfectly for Spill the Beans.
Well, we break here. We'll let you. We'll give you the airtime. You can blow anybody up you want.
No, I'm still, in this courting period right now where I'm still, like first date type stuff where, try not to show my true colors, but they're popping out a little bit.
No, show them. We need people that show true colors. Believe me, we need it. You go right ahead. I like what you said, though. You say, when you're going to face pitchers that you haven't faced before, you're going to get that fastball, and you've been around long enough. When you get it, you don't miss it. You put it in play.
Yeah, you got to. And last year, I had plantar fasciitis, so it was kind of an issue where I was playing, a lot more hurt than I should have ever played. And one of the things with having that injury on my back right foot was I couldn't sit on my backside, so I missed a lot of fastballs, fell a lot of them off. And so obviously the batting average will show for that. But, in the big leagues, you got to be able to hit the fastball. And, you're going to get plenty of opportunities to see fastballs. And, when you see a guy like Darvish, he's throwing 96. How hard is he throwing up there right now?
We've got him anywhere, I think, on the radar gun that we have, 93, 94.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, that's still a very good fastball. And obviously, if you're not able to catch up with it, or if you have mechanics that are preventing you from throwing your good swing out there and not being able to put it in play, you're going to have a real difficult time.
Well, if you realized our guns, that's probably 98, 99.
Yeah.
Because it's never right anyway.
Yeah, what are you guys using, a Jugs gun up there?
Exactly.
An iPhone?
No, we use a
stopwatch.
Oh, yeah, Sunwatch.
Ball 4 to Lou Marson. So the Indians have their first two aboard here.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this. They're getting good FaceTime now. This is sweet.
Well, you see, you're starting to rally here. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You found your role.
I found my role. Yeah, I'm the guy with the towel. I used to joke that when I'd warm up before games, I would just start, loosening up my arm for all the high fives I'd give over the course of the year.
Taking a look at your base hit against the Diamondbacks. Was that yesterday? I've lost track of the days already.
Of course. You haven't been out here that long, for God's sakes.
Pitch outside to Michael Brantley. Drew a walk his first time up.
I like to see Brantley hit a hard one in that left center gap right here.
Down in the dirt, good block by Torreal. But did you have any sort of preconception about what the Indians were like, what any of these players were like, or did you just come in here sort of, I'm going to figure it out on my own when I get here?
When I was talking with my agent, we were starting to go over the teams that were interested, and after you get non-tendered, it's kind of a weird feeling knowing that you're going to be a free agent. And obviously my free agent courting period was not the same as like an Albert Pujols, so I wasn't getting flown around anywhere.
You mean it wasn't? You didn't?
So it definitely wasn't quite the experience I was hoping for. But, when I heard the Indians I started obviously, going online, and you get to start looking up some of the players. And we played the Indians last year during interleague.
Right.
And obviously, Ubaldo being here, I knew Ubaldo very well, having played with him for 10 years through the minor leagues and in the big leagues together. So, and he said nothing but good things. He talked about how good the guys were here and how good of a group it was, and how there was a lot of communication with the front office and the coaching staff. So that's all you can ask for as a player, is just having that open line of communication. So you know your role, you know what's expected of you, and you can go out and perform. That a boy.
Another walk. Back-to-back. 3 passes. They're loaded up with nobody out. Here in the bottom of the third. Mike Maddox going to go out and chat with Yu Darvish.
Without interpreter, too. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, else he's going to go throw strikes.
Yeah.
No balls. I mean, that's 4 walks today. I guess if you're patient with this guy, he hasn't had really good command of that fastball to this point today.
But as you pointed out earlier, he's not like, at least from what we've seen in this limited sample, not a Dice K where he wants you to go out of the strike zone. He's just maybe overpowering pitches and missing.
Yeah. Dice K's a guy where, if he has you 0-2, he's going to throw 3 balls to get to 3-2 to try and get you out. This guy seems much more aggressive.
Yeah, and that was our approach when we faced Dice K with the Rockies. We would just literally, we'd sit till we got 2 strikes.
I mean, that's right. I mean, he's going to try and make you fish after, get after. But if you're just patient with him, you're going to see 5 or 6 pitches in that bat.
Hey, Ryan, you're probably the best person suited to talk about this. What do you say to the people who, and they're still out there constantly saying that Ubaldo will not be as good as he was a couple of years ago, that he's lost it, not the same pitcher? What do you say to those detractors?
It's funny you say that, because when you see Ubaldo when he's on, I mean, there's no one like him. And I think part of him is just going to be getting that confidence back, confidence in his fastball. I told him yesterday, I was like, would you please just throw fastballs? Because nobody's going to touch your fastball. It's got too much movement, and, even on his worst days, he's throwing 94 miles an hour. That's a hard pitch to hit. And so once he gets his fastball command and he starts getting that confidence back, that's going to land.
Down the line, just hooks foul.
Once he gets that fastball command and the confidence back, you'll see Ubaldo being the guy that that I've seen, and I see it. And it's not, you don't have it and all of a sudden lose it. I mean, that's just not the way it works, especially if you haven't had a major injury, which he hasn't. He had some issue with his finger and his cuticles and, whatever other issues. But to me, that's just a confidence thing. Once he gets some results, because there's nobody out and this inning's going forever. Yeah, I know. I love it.
Well, Ryan, that even though a fastball is a pitch that hitters want to hit, a well-located fastball is probably the toughest pitch to hit.
Absolutely. And I think for Ubaldo's, he's got a lot of moving parts. So getting his mechanics so where he can repeat it over and over again is going to be the fundamental key for him. But once he gets that, once he gets that confidence and realizes, guys do not like having to hit off him. No, it's not a comfortable at bat.
2-2 pitch, banged into right field, a base hit. Coming home is Hanahan. Marson stops at third, and they're still loaded up. Still nobody out. Indians on the board, now down 7-1.
Instant offense for you.
Yeah, just add water.
Ryan, under normal circumstances, I'd say, hey, thanks for your time, and, go enjoy it. But we can't let you go now.
Yeah, I got a rally going.
Yeah.
I don't have my rally talent. I'm missing out on all these high fives, so I'm getting bad teammate points right here.
Don't worry, you can catch him on the flip side.
I think I'm up a little bit right now. I think I've watched a lot of innings so far, so I think I have my good teammate
You're
points.
getting the rating points. They're not.
Yeah.
Shin-Soo Choo struck out his first time up. Looks at a breaking ball inside.
That's the pitch he's throwing Choo 2 times in a row. That get me over curveball, a big slow hook. He threw it for a strike the first time, but not this time.
You might give him another one right here.
Oh, yeah. He sure did.
Shin-Soo Choo came in hitting .357 on the spring. A little bit outside. 2 balls and a strike. Darvish might be running out of pitches here. Their bullpen is busy.
You know, this is only his second start. His first start, he went 2 innings and pitched very well, but his command has been a little off today.
Could be 2 here. 4-6-3. Twin killer gets a run home. But now Brantley's at third with 2 down.
Designated hitter number 48.
How about Cabby?
Visiting with Ryan Spilborghs. Signed with the Indians here in the offseason. And as he said, in a battle with a number of guys, not quite 55, but at times it seems like there are that many. And even Manny Acta was talking to us today about the fact that, you know, you're trying to get at bats for all of the guys who are competing for that spot. But he said, I want to see them in left field too.
Right.
He said it's one thing to get them at bats at first base, at right field, but he said I want to see them out in left, and that's just a difficult thing to accomplish.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough job that Manny has right now, trying to evaluate talent, especially in these situations, because, you know, where you see guys getting, you know, 12, 13, 14 at bats, it's hard to judge a batting average. It's hard to judge anything. So I mean, like I keep telling my wife, stop worrying about the results. You know, I'm giving quality at bats. That's all that matters.
That and the fact that you've got a resume, you've got a track record that they can go by and look at.
Yeah, but you know, baseball is a show me sport. They want to see what have you done for me lately, and and there's nothing wrong with that. Guys want to see results, and they want to see them kind of right away. And when you're in a situation like I'm in, you know, you don't want to be trying too hard to try to go up there and get a hit every time, because that takes away, you know, just getting prepared for the season. You know, when my approach is good, I'm not worried about results. I'm just trying to give a quality at bat. And I found myself at times, you know, just worried about getting a hit.
Well, it's tough to when you're in that situation you're in right now. I mean, you want to perform. You want to get a hit. You want plays out in left field. But you do play all 3 outfield positions, right? And is left your favorite out of the 3?
Yeah, for what we're talking about right now, left's my best spot.
I got you.
But I've logged so many innings. If you look at the back of my baseball card, I mean, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of innings in left, center, and right. I feel comfortable, and you know, I played in Coors Field, which was obviously a really big outfield, and I think I did okay. And I think part of being a good outfielder is just starting to understand what pitchers are doing, what your staff is capable of, how they pitch,
right?
Knowing the hitters, knowing the counts, situations, and that goes with experience, and I think I have kind of a leg up on that.
Well, it's a good thing this isn't a political race, because if the other candidates wanted equal time, we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, you got to get, hopefully,
Hafner with a drive to deep center. Back is Hudson. He's having a tough time with the sun, but he pulls it down in front of the track to end the inning. Ryan, thanks for your time.
Thanks, you guys. I appreciate it.
All right, Ryan Spilborghs joining us. Tribe gets a pair, but after 3, they're down 7-2. Back here in Goodyear, where the Indians trail 7-2. Tribe goes to the bullpen for the first time today. Genmar Gomez coming on now to work for the Indians after Josh Tomlin went the first 3. Genmar Gomez a season ago, made 10 starts, 5-3, 4.47 ERA. And for Genmar Gomez, this is his 3rd appearance of the spring. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you, and we're happy to be joined now by Kevin Millar from the MLB Network, and of course hosts a great daily show, Intentional Talk, with Chris Rose. And how are you?
I'm great. I was just trying to pronounce it. Genmar Gomez. You remember the old names like Bill Smith? It was a lot easier.
A long time
it's
since
tough.
those guys played.
I mean, I like Bob, playing second base, Bob. Now it's like Genmar. I would have pronounced that Genmar Gomez and Rose, but Kevin, it's not that. It's Genmar.
Yeah, well, how about you want to try a shot at this one?
That is Jan Belarus Solarte, and then you got playing shortstop. You that's Drupal Cabrera.
That's right, as Drupal.
How about Bob? Let's name him Bob Cabrera this year.
They come with nicknames. That's what everybody has a nickname.
Great player.
Cabby.
Cabby's a great one.
There
I go
you
by
go.
nicknames like Nishi.
Well, you already you done today, right? You worked your show. We saw the crowd over there, behind the bleachers in left field.
Yep, I got a sunburn already today. Forehead on fire, and then we threw the first pitch out. It's great to see Chris Rose's heart rate during the first pitch.
Did he get a little excited?
He's a nervous wreck.
Is he?
See, when you got in release, in T-ball, he got released T-ball or hit 15th. I'm not sure. It's a nervous time for him to throw the ball 60 feet.
And you were throwing to Shelley Duncan today, right? And I saw Duncan called it a ball, and you threw a strike on the inside corner, a little cutter.
little sidearm piece. I want to let you know, maybe make a comeback at 40. I can come in the 8th inning and get a ground ball to short.
Let's take a look right here.
Here we go. Look at a look at it. Chris, get over here. Take a look. There it is. Ball.
No, got the head shake.
Now watch the 3/4 action.
Now
Back
move.
up.
Give me some room.
I'm not lefty, Rose. I'm righty.
There's that little cutter on the inside
See?
edge. Get the
Got a
left-hander
backdoor
out.
sinker.
Yeah.
But I do want to say hello to Mr. Norton Rose, who is Chris Rose's father, who is watching. Are you proud of your son's delivery right there would be my question I'd ask Mr. Norton.
I'm sure he'll let you know.
That's right.
Wait, this phone's going to blow up here soon.
You'll have all his Shaker Heights calling you pretty soon. Kyle Hudson took over for Craig Gentry after he left the game. Went down hard in center field chasing after a fly ball. Josh Tomlin, his day over after 3 innings of work and had a rough 3rd inning. Hudson bangs one to first. Lopez with the flip. And that's out number 1.
There you go. So you guys are out here now. What's this, your Arizona swing? Did you make your trip to Florida yet?
We didn't do Florida. We're doing only Arizona.
I like that.
Come out here for 5. We'll do our show 5 days. So yesterday we did in Colorado. Obviously the new
You like
talking
that?
stick.
Beautiful
It's
facility.
unbelievable. Jason Jami gave me a tour. And I'm going to tell you right now, not 1 pool, not 2 pools. They got like 14 cold tubs.
Yeah.
And 14 jacuzzis. I'm thinking, how many guys are jumping at the same time?
I know.
You remember the little silver thing we used to do?
Oh, yeah.
That was fine, right?
It was never cold. It was always hot.
Yeah, it's an amazing facility. But all these facilities out here in Arizona, spring training, it's just, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know, and it's more personal for fans, just to kind of, get close.
You've got 2 clubs at every facility, so it is, you got 8 teams right around here within probably 25 minutes.
Yangervis Solarte, ground ball to second. Kipnis throws him out. 2 down.
I always say that. Florida, and I only went and got released with the Cubs in 2010, but you spring train the city of Phoenix. In Florida, you spring train the state of Florida.
That's true.
So, I mean, you're on a bus
Correct.
for 2.5 hours to
Yeah.
get 2 at bats and drive back in traffic. And you know how 95 is down there in Florida if you've ever been out there.
95, you got Interstate 4 if you're in the middle part of the state.
Average age is about 68. 68
That's right
to
up my,
97.
don't talk, that's right up my alley, pal. What are you
In
talking
his
about?
wheelhouse. 2 down here. Hey,
Come
before
on,
the
we eat
inning.
by 4.
Hey, before. Remember that year in Winter Haven, we did a lot of eating early. We had to beat the crowd.
That's right. Look out, Cracker Barrel. Here we come.
Usually he's got a sharp elbow when it comes to getting in line, too.
You got to box out, my friend.
That's right. Hey, speaking of Florida and spring training, what'd you make of your old club, the Red Sox, and their late season meltdown a year ago, and then everything that came out in the offseason afterwards?
It's amazing. You know what? I had a problem with it getting out. I don't mind. All that stuff goes on. There's Murphy almost going oppo right here.
Deep to left. And Fred Lewis, did he hold it?
I don't know. They're playing the
Can we get a
Oregon
call,
song.
please? Yes.
He did.
He's out.
Finally.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, Kevin.
We'll get that
appreciate
story.
it.
I'll text you the rest of that story on the freeway on the way home.
Yeah, would you?
Cracker Barrel. We'll see you there.
Back here in Goodyear. 7-2 Texas going to the bottom of the 4th inning. For the Tribe, Jose Lopez, Jason Kipnis, and Fred Lewis due up. Koji Uehara coming on now to work in relief of Yu Darvish, who went 3 innings today, allowing 2 runs on 3 hits. Uehara last year between the O's and the Rangers, 65 games, 2-3 at .235 ERA. How about that? Only 9 walks and 85 strikeouts in his 65 innings. Well, we're back here, joined now by Chris Rose, who is Kevin Millar's counterpart on the MLB Network show Intentional Talk. And so now, you know, you're from Cleveland, so you get the last at bat.
That
give
way.
you the last word.
You're the home team, baby.
Yeah, you know what? I can only sit next to him for a half hour, an hour a day. That's why you didn't have us on the same inning. So that's why. Yeah, he sucker punched me on the first pitch thing. By the way, Dad, you did raise a man. I apologize for the
that's all right.
the toss.
Were you nervous going out there throwing it out seriously?
Yeah, we did it yesterday as well, and we're doing it the rest of the week. I'm pacing myself, so I'm figuring I can break.
You can't pace yourself. You can't make the team pacing yourself.
Okay, that's what I'm worried about. I'm really worried. See, I got an outfielder's arm, so Arch, you can help me with this. Okay. I feel like I just kind of open up on the mound, and I'm going to throw it all the way to the top of the backstop. If I do, okay.
Go to second base and throw it in, and you can have him as your cutoff man on top of the mound, and then that way, you know, you're used to throwing from the outfield.
That's the way they did it in Boston. Manny used to cut off Johnny Damon's throws from the outfield,
right.
So you know, Millar can cut off Rose.
Just move back. It's tough. You can't short arm it, and you know, catchers and infielders they get their arm right around their ear, and it's easy to just flip it in there. You can't extend your arm out.
Yeah, I'm mad today because Millar, we were warming up. He broke my mitt, which I found under my camp cabin in 1983. He broke it. It's so old it has Ron Say's signature.
Okay, let's get a look at it.
He broke my mitt.
It's got Ron Say. Now that you use that,
look at the finger.
Yeah.
He broke it.
You can't leave it in the garage. That'll happen to it.
No, I use it, but I use it
What
with
was
my
that name on there? That Satchel Paige. That was that wasn't Ron Say.
Actually, it was so old it was Rick Manning in there.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was terrible.
That's a 6-finger. You're a brawling 6-finger, man.
Oh man.
Hey, at least you didn't bounce it. All right, that's
no, that's true. It was in the air.
Yeah, I hear that. That was Shelley Duncan's parting words.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Shelley
At least
got
you
you.
didn't get me dirty. I appreciate it. Thanks. Well, listen, I've raised 2 boys out in Los Angeles that are diehard Tribe fans.
Are they?
Yeah, so we watch you every night, and you know, they bleed it out there. They bleed the Tribe colors. So. You know.
Well, we'll get out and play the Angels. I'm trying to think, just once this year.
Yeah.
Last year we were there twice.
Right.
But
Yeah, we made it on that Mother's Day game, the back and forth game out there out west. And so, you know, they love it. They love it. They're big baseball fans. They don't know what I do for a living, but they're huge.
Now they inherited the Indians from you, right? You grew up in Cleveland.
Yeah.
At the university school.
Yeah. I mean, I watched them all. I mean, I used to go down to the games at Old Municipal Stadium, and when Joe Carter was playing left field, you know.
Okay.
When we were struggling a little bit for the.
We've been struggling for 40 years.
2.5 decades we were struggling.
Yeah, right.
We used to yell at Joe Carter in left field. He used to talk back to us. It was great. It was great.
Well, Brett Butler then was in center.
Yeah. Yeah. Corey Snyder.
Corey
right.
Snyder was in right.
I won't claim to be, by the way, at the game on May 15th, 1981.
Len Barker's perfect game.
I just merely watched it. We got home from dinner that night, and we watched the rest of it on TV. So
what day was it?
I had just turned 10. Yeah, it was a Friday night.
You got it. Very good.
You know.
May 15th.
So if we were out to dinner, it was a Friday. Rose household didn't go out on Tuesdays.
Kipnis, a sky-high pop right field near the line.
Get foul.
And a catch made for out number 1.
I'm excited, though. I like watching the young guys come up. Chisenhall, Santana, Kipnis. They've got to play at almost all-star caliber for them to stick around with.
Well, they have to stay healthy. You know what I mean? Yeah. You want to see them stay healthy this year. They had I mean, we lost our whole outfield all last year, but you're right. I mean, in a perfect world, you want to see these guys get the opportunity to play, stay healthy, and they could be very, very good ball players.
Yeah, and I also love the extra playoff team. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I know some old school people are saying, well, it's 162, it's a marathon. I like it.
Now, who do you think? What do you think the extra playoff team will benefit? Bigger market ball clubs, smaller market teams, or?
Hey, you know, St. Louis for the first time in its history was over $100 million payroll last year.
Yeah,
first time. I mean, they had great players, but they did it. They did it well. You know, the Rangers weren't over $100 million last year. They were in the 90s.
They were.
Yeah.
They got to be over 100 this year.
Oh yeah, I mean they're getting up. Also posting fees.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, but I mean that's right. They are now, but they weren't then. And so I think the top 9 payrolls were knocked out before the World Series last year. So can it be done? Of course it can be done.
Well, the whole key is getting in. You've got to get into the postseason and
make it sing from there on out. But now there's a huge advantage and incentive to winning the division, which I like. I didn't like for years that the wild card, you know, Cashman a couple years ago, Brian Cashman, the GM of the Yankees, said the only benefit of winning the division over making it as a wild card is cooler hats and T-shirts. So,
yeah. Well, and now that is true. But now, I mean, for this year anyway, you can, you know, get into the playoffs, play one game, and go home after 162. That's the unfortunate thing this year.
Yeah, but that's kind of that's the fun part in the beginning, at least. Oh, there you go.
Fred Lewis with a drive deep right field off the top of the wall, stays in play, and it's going to be a double for Lewis. Lopez stops at third.
Here we go. By the way, Millar wanted to finish that story. He said about the Red Sox that they went 7-20 in the month of September, and he was upset because it got out, all the stuff in the clubhouse, which I understand. But, you know, I suppose if they go instead of 7-20, they win 10 games that month, then maybe Terry Francona's still there. Who knows?
Oh, sure. If they win 9 games that month, 2 more than what they did.
Right, I get it. I get it. I understand what he was saying. So good, finished your story there, Millar. I usually have to do that intentional talk for people to actually understand his stories anyway.
There's Jack Hanahan looking at a ball inside. Well, you spent a long time at Fox, and now you get the opportunity with the intentional talk show. Did you have expectations when they said, hey, we got an idea for a talk show, it's going to be you and Kevin Millar? Did you have expectations going in like, yeah, I'll be on a month and then this thing will never see the light of day again? Or did you foresee the kind of success this thing would have?
You know what? I would say that here's the interesting thing. Kevin and I have been friends for 8 years, and for years I begged the baseball team to be smart and finally release him because I always wanted to do a show. And so I appreciate what the Cubs did in the spring of 2010. They said, listen, your time has run out here, 1-5. It's over. So, you know, I called him. I gave him a couple days to cry and all that sort of stuff, get it out of his system. And I said, let's go do this. And, you know, we went up to MLB. We did MLB Tonight for a year together, and they knew that we were friends. So there aren't a lot of sports shows where, you know, guys, sometimes you work together and you become friends. Here,
Right.
it's friends, and what you see on the air, this is how we are. We're kind of like brothers. So when we're mad at each other, you see that. And when we're laughing at each other and we're kicking each other, and, you know.
But it's a good time, though. And
That's
you're
what it
doing
is.
something you love doing. It's
We love
all
it.
about baseball.
And listen, I give him grief, but, you know, this whole cowboy F thing, woo, man down, let's go, you know, all that sort of stuff. That's who he is. That's who he is.
Hanahan, a little tapper up the first base side, stays foul.
Which is why I don't know how his wife stays with him. But other than that, because that's the way he is around his kids and his family.
I mean, he doesn't change. He was a ball player. That's how you are. What you see is what you get.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay to dye your hair when you're 28 and you're in the show.
It's okay to have hair when you're 30.
I hear you.
Sometimes a lot of guys
But when
don't
you're
even have
40 and you're looking like you Darvish out there, Millar.
That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that.
$65 at the ladies'
get it colored?
salon in Austin, Texas, if you're driving through there anytime in the near future.
We play Houston this year. Give me a card. I may have to get it, a little color.
Hanahan strikes out. 2 down here in the fourth. We're visiting with Chris Rose from MLB Network's Intentional Talk. Very successful show, and you know, it's a unique format, and you have a lot of players on and executives during the season, and those guys really seem to enjoy coming on because they all watch.
They do. They enjoy coming on because they know it's not brain surgery. Anytime the two guys asking you the questions are dumber than you are, that's always a good sign. So they feel comfortable, and we just have fun. It's a personality-driven show. Our job is to show that these guys are, you know, there's something to them outside of the
It's
diamond.
like loosening everything up and getting them to be themselves.
You know how stale it can get. You're asked the same question each and every day. That away, Lou Marson.
There's a 2-out base hit, going to bring home a couple of runs.
That away.
And all of a sudden, the Indians are within 3. It's now 7-4.
That away 6.
Gets a fastball to his liking, goes right back up the middle. Drives in a pair, makes it a 7-4 ball game now.
See, he would have been so far out in front of the Rose changeup from today, he would have had no shot at that.
So do you like when you get out on live remotes and get out of the studio?
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of fun, isn't it?
fun.
During the year, you get to go to the ballparks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's great. It's just great being out at the ballpark. I mean, spring training's so much fun because the guys really have their guard down. It's a nice,
so relaxed atmosphere.
time. And the fans, it's nice to just be out amongst the fans. We had a great crowd today. You can see it tonight.
We heard it from over here.
Yeah.
I was watching it from up here.
Yeah, so, you know, we're tonight on MLB Network, we'll be on at midnight. So we've got that great time slot against Leno and Letterman. So we should do really well tonight.
I can't watch. I'll be sleeping.
Who's in charge of scheduling? Is that Matt Vasgersian's department?
Yeah, I think that is Vasgersian. If somebody screwed up at MLB, it was Vasgersian that did it.
Sure.
That's usually it.
Michael Brantley trying to keep the inning alive with a runner at second or runner at first and 2 down. 0-2 pitch. Just a little bit inside.
Well, it's tough not to enjoy yourself when you're doing something you love.
Yep.
And you're around the game you love and grew up doing it. And they even got you a jersey.
That
Who
is
got
pro.
you that? Who got you
That's
that?
pro.
Tony? Tony get you that?
I don't know. You know, Derek Lowe brought him on the set when he was our guest today, his son, Tanner. And it was great. I mean, you know, we've been to a lot of ballparks. We haven't gotten jerseys.
See that? You got them with your name on it.
Way to
and
represent
everything.
Cleveland.
That
There you go.
right. Yeah,
There we go.
absolutely.
There we go. I finally made it to
And
the
I
big
know
leagues.
that's a keeper right there.
Ryan
for you.
Spilborghs was a little upset that I stole his number today. I said, that's okay.
Have you seen his segments from when he was with the Rockies?
I have. They're great. They're great. We talked about, we had him as a guest on a show in the offseason. We talked about it. He does some good stuff. We'll have him on again.
Swing and a miss. Brantley strikes out. Well, Chris, thanks so much for stopping by. We appreciate it.
Guys, thank you.
Best of luck. Continued success with the show.
Thanks. We'll see you out in Anaheim this year, okay?
Look forward to it. Intentional Talk on MLB.
Brought to you by Taco Bell and the new Doritos Loco Tacos. It's crazy good. "7-4 Texas on top." Fifth inning here in Goodyear. Genmar Gomez.
Boy, we've got a show with a cast of thousands, don't we? Oh, and by the way, it's 7-4 in the ball game.
Feel a little bit like a traffic cop today, huh?
You're doing it.
You're in, you're out. Get it moving. Whoop,
That's
whoop.
right.
Gomez worked a 1-2-3 fourth inning for the Indians. He'll be facing Connor Jackson to lead things off for the Rangers, and Mitch Moreland and your Victoria Alba. There's the line of the pitch. And for a strike. Jackson popped up his first time to the plate and then reached on an error and scored in the third. Genmar Gomez, 24-year-old right-hander. Jackson pops it to second. That's one out. Back in the third inning, you may recall the ball that was hit to center field. Gentry made a diving attempt on the ball, couldn't come up with it.
It's the wrist.
Hit by Jack Hanahan. I'm told he left the game with a sprained left wrist.
Yeah, we thought it might have been the shoulder, the hyperextension, but it was his wrist. It looked like he might have landed on it, rolled over on the wrist as his momentum carried over. The weight of that body put on the wrist. But he had to leave, and hopefully he will be okay.
Mitch Moreland singled and scored in the third. Hit to right field. And Moreland has a couple of hits.
Well, Indians baseball at Progressive Field. It's a great time to get your season tickets, and you're guaranteed the best seat locations and unbeatable atmosphere and special perks all season long. Call 216-420-HITS, or you can visit Indians.com today.
Yorvi Torrealba has had a good day. Singled and scored in the second. Doubled in a run and scored in the third. Way outside. Gomez with a 1-1. Double play ball to short. That'll end the inning. We go to the bottom of the fifth. 7-4 Texas. Just beyond the Goodyear Airport is the ballpark here in Goodyear, Arizona. And today the Indians taking on the Texas Rangers, 7-4 in favor of Texas as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Matt Underwood, Rick Manning with you. Texas goes back to their bullpen. And they go to left-hander Joe Beimel. And we're joined, well, there's Joe Beimel taking a look at his stats before we get to Shelley Duncan, last year with Pittsburgh. But Shelley Duncan joins us now down in the Indians dugout. And Shelley, I was curious, is this the most time you've been able to spend with your dad since you've been a professional baseball player yourself?
It is. He's here for the week, and him getting a chance to come out is really cool. It's kind of neat seeing him out here in street clothes rather than a uniform, but it's a fun time.
I read something. That's the first time he's seen you play in how long? As far as,
in person.
Yeah, in person.
It's been a really, really long time. Really long time.
And it's a neat deal, of course, because, this is where it all began for him with the, with the Indians organization. And, of course, you were born while he was playing in Cleveland.
Rick knows that. Rick was, he was there.
Absolutely. I was there. I mean, when I was first coming up to the big leagues in 73 and 74, Dave was the catcher. And then he came back as the pitching coach. So it was, a great time. I hadn't seen him in a while because, we haven't played the Cardinals in so long. I just don't, they're the National League. Don't get to see him. But it's great to see him is right.
That's what's cool, Rick, is there's a lot of people that are still around from back in those days. And, and get to hear stories.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of fun. I mean, there's so few of us left, and it seems like they're dwindling. But, when they're around, it's fun to talk about.
Yeah. Those times when Dad was with the Indians, I even hear from my mom. Those were their funnest years in baseball.
Yeah, well, that's right. You were born down in, well, that's right, in Cleveland, weren't you?
I was in Tucson when you guys are spring training down there.
Okay.
So that's where they made the home. But, Mom and Dad got married in Westlake. And, back a long time ago.
Yes, indeed. And now your wife is, they're here to spend the week with you and your wife because she's pregnant with twins. Is that right?
That is right. So my mom and my wife are out baby shopping. And,
beautiful.
My mom loves spoiling her. They're out having a lot of fun. Dad gets to come to the ballpark. It's a perfect match.
So life is about to change for you pretty soon here.
It is. She's due in July. I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah.
She's so excited. Whole family's excited. It's really neat.
Pitch to Cabrera, bang foul. Shelley, what's your mindset coming into this spring as far as, looking at the ball club and your role and trying to build off of what you accomplished last season, especially late in the year?
First and foremost, I'm preparing to be an everyday player, preparing as if I was going to be an everyday player, and trying to get ready for April, trying to get swing down, comfortable out there, legs under me, game shape, everything where you want it to be when the season starts. It's a process, trying to put all the focus on the process. Not worried about, putting up results in spring training, understand what needs to get done. And, so I think with about 10 games left in camp, mechanically and body-wise, everything should be in a spot to, where you want it to be when the season starts.
You really had an opportunity last September to get different reps and go out there on a daily basis, and it was a lot of fun for you. You haven't had a lot of opportunities at the big league level to do that. But man, with the 7 home runs, 23 ribbies, you were a lot of this offense in the month of September.
It was a lot of fun. That was the first time I got to go out there 4 days in a row, and I got that extended period of time out there, and it gave me a chance to get comfortable, to get a little settled in. Bench roll's a tough roll.
Yes, it is.
I think anyone who's been in that spot understands how tough it is. Every time you get in there, it's a grind. You grind it out. Some days you don't feel good. Some days you do, and you don't get to see pitching every day. Usually it's a tough pitcher, and you grind it out to get that 240, that 230, and put together good at bats for your team and do whatever you can to win that day. But when you get a chance to play every day, you get to build off of the good days. You get to make adjustments on the bad days, and you always can go to sleep knowing that there's tomorrow. And that's why I think baseball is so special, is that there's always tomorrow.
Yeah, you were able to relax a little bit, but you finally, I mean, being around, and you're a veteran, you're 31 years old, had an opportunity to feel comfortable at least pinch hitting it, because you got that attitude. You said, I don't care. I'm up there in a situation where I got to give it my all, and that's all I can do.
Once I embraced that role of pinch hitting, it became a lot of fun. It's a huge adrenaline rush. Usually, you know, when you get that at bat, it's in a big situation, and you know, you just get that rush in you, and once you learn to control it and not really worry about failing, which, you know, happens a lot in those situations,
right.
you free yourself up to do good things, and then once you do that, it starts to become a little more fun.
Well, and you're a guy who, any of us who watch the club from the outside in, your teammates pull for you. You can tell that they root for you in those particular situations. There's definitely a camaraderie, a close-knit element to this ball club. Shin-Soo Choo lines one into right center field for a one-out base hit.
He's looking good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's swinging the bat very well.
Yeah. Excited.
What do you like about the makeup of this club, though, Shelley, as far as, you know, every year's different, and you've got different personalities and different cultures, but, you know, this clubhouse really has seemed to meld and gel over the last 2 years.
You got a lot of young guys on here that have some swagger, which is which is a lot of fun. Everyone gets along really well. You know, I think, you know, the few egos that are there, you know, most of the egos are put aside, but the few that are there get along with everybody. It's a I don't know how to say it. It's a great dynamic where, you know, you start playing for each other. You don't. I don't know if there's any of this on the other teams, but you don't have any rooting against your teammates in any moments. It's
all
for
one. Yeah, it's all
really
for
is.
one. I mean, we were talking to Pronk and Travis Hafner yesterday, and he believes you can be that hitter. You hear Indians talking about we need some right-handed pop in the lineup. He's saying you don't have to look any farther than Shelley Duncan, and I mean, he believes that.
I tell you, Haf's one of the best teammates I've ever been with. He watches your bats. He helps you out. He's about as good as it gets too. And, you know, I love DH in the days when he's taking a break. He's always right there. And, you know, when we're batting next to each other in a lineup, it's always a lot of fun. And, you know, I'm thankful for him as a teammate. He's a good one.
Well, I remember last September that the Detroit Tigers were in town, and you guys were facing a guy named Justin Verlander, and you took him deep twice during the course of the day. He tried to throw one harder the next time, and you hit the second one farther. That was beautiful.
He tried to embarrass me.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it turned out the other way around. You embarrassed him.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. I remember that was a great day.
He's tough.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. But that had to be a fun day for you.
It was, but you know, the bad thing is we lost that game, and that put us in a real hole against them for the rest of the season. And golly, they played good that last 2 months of the season. It was.
Well, and that's a team that you're going to have to contend with a lot this year, 18 times again, and they got the big boy first baseman Prince Fielder to deal with too.
I think this is it's a mentality I think we have to have this year. Is we can't worry about what they're doing, and I think you know, I think we have that right now. But it'll be tough when the season starts, and you know, if they jump out to a good start, or you know, we play them a couple times early, it might be tough to have that. But we really need to stay focused on ourselves and winning each ball game. It's such a cliche thing to say, but you know, it's so important, especially with what we have here, is putting 100% of our focus on each game. And most important games, that first game against Toronto, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it boils down to. And you're right, that's the kind of mentality you have to have. And last year, the Indians were .500 against the Central Division, where Detroit really dominated. I think they won 53 games in our division. But you've got to go out and you've really got to take control of your own division against the teams like the Minnesota, Chicago's, Kansas City's, and also Detroit if you want to succeed in the Central.
I think our division's going to be better than people expect. I think the Royals, they're young last year. They have a lot of talent. They have some really good arms. You know, they have a chance to be good. The Twins will be better than they were last year. The White Sox, they're like a wild card in the bunch. Everyone says they're rebuilding, but they have a bunch of really talented players. And you know, Sale's going to be a starter this year. It'll be interesting how he is. And you have Detroit and us, and it's going to be tougher than people think, and it'll be fun playing those teams.
Well, I remember back, you're talking about the game that Shelley had last year against Detroit. I was thinking about the game he had against these guys in Texas. The plays he made in left field.
Oh, yeah.
Back to back to back. I mean, it was a Gold Glove highlight reel, Shelley.
I was just running the same spot and putting my glove up there.
Jose Lopez, line drive, base hit into right field, and Chu will stop at second. 2 on, 2 out.
It was. I got a lot of grief. Everyone brings that up all winter long.
You know, we had a shot of you when you made a couple of those plays. It was just priceless. When you looked in and you went, wow. I mean, just the look on your face, and it just happened that way. And they were great plays. And what were they? Back to back, weren't they?
Back to back to back.
That's right, in that one inning.
I haven't even had one play like that my whole career. You know, and get 3 of them in a row is. It's stupid.
You know, it's a professional sport, and you guys get paid a good salary to go out and do what you do. But that one moment kind of reminded us all that we're all just big kids in this game.
I think we all are. You know, if you know, the MLB had us all mic'd up the other day, and when we were playing in Arizona, and everyone was just tight-lipped.
Yeah,
you know, but if everyone had a mic on them and no one knew that they're mic'd up. You could tell that we all have that attitude all the time.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Well, that's the game's supposed to be fun. It's competitive enough, and I mean, nowadays you can't hide from cameras, from media, from everything like that. It is a game, and we are kids that play the game, but you just have to concentrate. What people, I think, forget around the country is that they're kids that play this game. They're in their 20s. They're 20 to 32 years old, and I mean, the pressure of the world's on their shoulders, they think, in the game, but it's just a game.
Ooh. Kipnis drives one left center. Long run for Hudson. Can't get it over his head. Chu scores. Here comes Lopez. He will score. Jason Kipnis delivers a 2-out, 2-run double. And all of a sudden, it's a 1-run game at 7-6.
That's good hitting right there.
Yes, indeed. We've got a ball game now. We're only in the 5th inning.
Don't you love these Arizona spring training games?
Yeah.
Never over.
Well, I'll tell you, Beimel left a fastball about middle of the plate for Kipnis. He stayed on it, working that inside part of the baseball, drove it to left center field. Will score both runs. A nice job of hitting right there. And not just a base hit away from tying it.
That would have been an easy pitch for Kipnis to get excited and come off that ball.
Right.
It was impressive for him to keep that shoulder closed and do what he did.
Well, he's a guy that, you know, we noticed it last year when he came up, really, for a young player, no fear.
And not only that, he's confident. You know, he's not afraid to fail. You nailed that on the nose. He's solid. He's fun to have in the clubhouse, too.
Yeah, he reminds me of an old baseball player. Loves to get dirty. That uniform will be dirty by about the 2nd inning every game.
Yeah.
And he likes to play the game.
And when he fails, he'll make an adjustment. Doesn't sit okay with him.
Yeah, he has a surprising eye for a young player coming up. He's got a very good eye at the plate. Knows his strike zone.
1-0 pitch. In there for a called strike to even the count. Fred Lewis doubled and scored in the 4th. Indians got 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and now 2 in the 5th after they trailed at 1 point, 7-0. Joe Beimel. Now Lewis steps away. I'm afraid to ask Shelley a question because every time I've asked a question with 2 outs, the next pitch, there's an out.
Well, let's wait after this pitch. If you ever have it loaded and ready to go.
There it is.
Go. Go. You got time.
Well, what I wanted to ask you is, you know, everybody, and us included, we're guilty of it. Talk about, boy, they've got to get off to a good start. Well, you got off to a great start last year, and that didn't really lead to anything by the season's end. What's important to you as far as how the season starts?
It was important for us to get off to a good start last year because we're a talented team and we needed to have that confidence to know that we could win ball games. But we never gone through adversity before and learned to pick ourselves up, and we learned that last year. You know, what's important this year is to really just focus each game on its own. And I think we will learn a lot from last year, and it'll make us better.
Shelley, thanks so much for being with us. Appreciate your time. Best of luck to you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Shelley Duncan. There's the highlights from last year in Texas. The great plays he made against the Rangers. 7-6 Texas. We played 5 here in Goodyear. Ball is brought to you by Taco Bell and the new Doritos Loco Tacos. It's crazy good. Back here in Goodyear, 7-6 ball game. After the Indians have clawed their way back into it, they were trailed after the third inning, going into the bottom of the third inning, 7-0. And now time for wholesale changes, or at least a few. Gregorio Petit taking over for Jason Kipnis. We saw Travis Hafner heading down the right field line, so his day is also done. Chad Huffman in right field. Genmar Gomez has looked very good.
Yes, he has. Ended last inning with a ground ball double play, and the Indians keep pecking their way back into this ball game. Offensively, that's what they need. You know, we talked to Manny yesterday. It'd be nice to have a game where you can get 10, 12 runs and just continue to keep hitting. And we're on track because it's fifth inning. It's a 7-6 ball game.
Out of play. Angel Beltre swung on and missed. 1-2 the count. Two balls, two strikes. It's been interesting to talk to some of the different guys this week and hear their perspectives on where the team's at and what they like about the team.
Well, the one thing is, when you're talking to Shelley Duncan, he's going to get an opportunity to play here. He's going to make this ball club, no doubt. But I'll tell you, he has a lot of influence in that clubhouse for a guy that hasn't been an everyday player. Yeah. You know, normally it's everyday players, but the way this team has been structured and the way people have been hurt the last few years, he's really attracted a lot of them because he's played with so many of these kids coming up, you know, through Columbus and everything, and he's been around and they look up to him. So as a manager, when you're Manny Acta, you need veterans in there to take care of the clubhouse, you know, and they haven't had that for a while.
Beltre with a routine bouncer to short as Dribble Cabrera throws him out, one away.
Well, you can say big at Progressive Field with Indians and Flexbacks. That's presented by Discount Drug Mart. You can use 10 tickets however you want. You can take a group of 10 to one ball game, or you can mix and match it. You and a friend go 5 different times, or you know what, be selfish and take yourself 10 times. It doesn't matter. Well, either way you want to do it, call 216-420-HITS and check out the Flex Plan.
Boy, opening day, not that far off now. Tribe will open the regular season at home against the Toronto Blue Jays on April 5th. Tribe will be off then on Good Friday and host the Blue Jays Saturday, April 7th, and Monday or Sunday, right. April.
That's Easter too, isn't it?
8th. And then the White Sox come in April 9th, 10th, and 11th to conclude the first homestand of the season. And I'll tell you what, Rick, if the weather holds, it's going to be a spectacular April because it's supposed to be almost 70 degrees all this week in Cleveland.
It'll be just fine. Last year, we had our year of wet, rainy, soggy weather all year long. It's going to be a good year weather-wise. It's going to be a great one.
So there you have it, folks, from Wally Canaan, the weatherman. It's going to be a beautiful summer in Cleveland.
You got it. You heard it here first.
Here's the 1-2 from Genmar.
Wally Canaan.
Cabrera throws him out, 2 down. Hey, STO is your home for the Ohio High School Athletic Association. And Wednesday night, tomorrow night, we got a boys basketball regional semifinal playoff doubleheader live and in HD starting at 6. It'll be big time hoops right here on STO. Tomorrow night starting at 6 o'clock. Saturday, we've got the girls basketball championships. 8 teams going for 4 state titles starting at 10:30. That's Saturday morning. Log on to STOHD.com for a complete listing. It's March Madness for high schools and college.
Yeah, it's that time of year, huh? Baseball getting ready to start. College basketball wrapping up.
Boy, and you talk about a busy area. Last night, after all of the spring training baseball that goes on throughout this entire area around Phoenix, then you had the Suns playing at home and the Phoenix Coyotes playing at home.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a big market out here.
Just inside.
Gomez is throwing the ball very well. He's getting the ground balls. He's got a little sink working. He's done a really nice job.
He's another guy he's
battling for that number 5 spot.
Competing, yeah. Worst case scenario, he's a starter that will be at Columbus that gives you some depth.
Phone call away is what he'll be if he doesn't get that number 5 spot. But we have seen flashes of brilliance from Genmar. But what he has to do, progress like any young pitcher, is secondary pitches. He's got to work on that slider, getting tilt to it, work on throwing maybe some 2-0 changeups and believing he can do that. He's got a good sinker. I think he's a quality pitcher. It's just a matter of maturing.
He works another 1-2-3 innings. 2 out of the 3 have been 1-2-3, all 3 scoreless for Gomez. Another great day at the ballpark here in Goodyear, Arizona, where the Rangers lead the Indians at the moment by a score of 7-6. But don't go away, because the Tribe has been making a lot of headway with that deficit, scoring 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth. Now they'll take aim at Mike Adams, who had a tremendous season last year. Look at 75 games he pitched and a 1.47 ERA.
Well, ended up pitching in the Big Petco Park for most of that year, then coming over to a little different atmosphere over in Texas.
Yeah.
And he pitched differently, too, because he nibbled a little bit more than he did.
A little more intensity from San Diego to Texas last year. Hey, we're happy to be joined now by Indians pitching coach Scott Grudensky, who could certainly appreciate the job that Mike Adams did last year. When you count on a guy 75 times out of that bullpen, that's certainly impressive. And Scott, you had a number of guys, 69, 70, 70-plus appearances out of that Tribe's bullpen a season ago. So you had durable and guys who were very accountable.
Yeah, we did. You know, these guys, they maintained their strength and kept themselves ready all season, and they responded when we needed them.
Scott, has it been an interesting transition? Has it even felt like a transition going from bullpen coach now to pitching coach this spring?
You know, I've been lucky, being with the same team here and having been with these guys. Transition, yeah, I mean, it's definitely different, but comfortable and familiar for all of us, I hope, and I think it's been easy to work with these guys, having known them.
But you and Belch had a great working relationship, throughout the year last year, and I'm sure you and Dave Miller are going to have the same thing going on this year, on the same page and how it works.
Yeah, it should be smooth. I worked with Dave in the minor leagues for 5 years as a pitching coach when he was our coordinator here. So, that's an easy fit for both of us, and he's familiar with most of these guys we have in the organization, and it should be pretty smooth.
Scott, other than the obvious notion that you're now in charge of all the pitchers and not just the guys in the bullpen, what else changes for you in this new role?
I've had a little more scheduling to do in spring training than I did last year. Just kind of business as usual for me. Like you had mentioned a little bit earlier, the relationship I had with Belch and, the freedom that I had, and he had given me to, work with these guys and interact. So it just feels comfortable. It feels like an easy fit, and I just got to be the lead voice now.
Well, I guess your toughest job now, you're looking for a number 5 starter here. Gomez threw the ball really well today, didn't he?
Yeah, he threw the ball great. He's been throwing the ball really good all spring, and he hasn't been getting any starts, but he's been coming in these, coming in behind the starter, and it's shown no effect of anything. And he's eating up some innings, and he's making some quality pitches.
And you love the fact that when you get competition, you get guys pushing each other. You're gonna bring out the best in somebody.
Yeah, it's great. We've got a few guys here that we've all seen before in Cleveland, and we've got some experience now. And when we do need to rely on these guys, it's not their first time out there, and they should feel a little more comfortable walking into that clubhouse and going on that field and being able to be a part of it and perform.
Well, as you know, as we do as well, even though you break with a team and somebody's going to win that number 5 starter out of Arizona, you still have to get guys ready down in the AAA segment of it, and they're just a phone call away if something should happen.
Yeah, that's that's the reality of what we have and the reality of the game, and it was part of my message early in spring was it's more than the guys getting on this plane, heading to Cleveland that are going to be a part of this, and you got to be prepared and you got to be ready, and that phone call will come, and be ready.
Scott, last year in the major leagues, the Colorado Rockies used the most number of starters with 13. The Indians were kind of in the middle of the pack at 10. The Brewers used the fewest with only 6 starters all season long. When you go game plan your depth for the season, how many starters, ideally do you want to say, okay, these are the guys in order on the depth chart that we can count on legitimately?
Ideally, of the 5 guys we leave with.
Yeah, right. Give me 5.
Realistically, I think there's probably 2 or 3 guys deep that we're going to need at some point for some reason or another, whether it be a doubleheader or whatever, and hopefully not more than 2 or 3.
Well, yeah, you hope for the best and you prepare for the worst.
Exactly. That's kind of what we're doing.
Well, now in the bullpen situation, Most of those bullpen spots are spoken for, but how many spots are you still looking for? 1 or 2?
Well, you know, I think we have probably a couple spots open here. You know, we've had a core of these guys together for the last couple of years, and you know, if some of them can perform like they have, you know, maybe we have one spot open. But we brought some quality arms here from some other organizations. A lot of guys with late game experience and you know, some time under their belt. So it's a nice. They're nice options to have, and you know, so far they've been throwing the ball well. So, you know, like you said, competition's good, and it's nice to see everybody push themselves and get the most out of it.
Carrera, excuse me, with a nice bunt. Torrealba throw to first, didn't get him.
All right, big inning setup. Hey, Scott, can you give us any updates on the Perez boys, Chris and Rafi, how they're doing?
Rafi threw his second bullpen yesterday, and we're looking at some live BP on Thursday. And Chris is getting off the mound in another day or two, so they're both looking pretty good right now and have responded to their treatment and you know, throwing the ball well, and they haven't lost too much time. So we're going to get them in games here in the next week or so, and hopefully we have enough time to get them going for the start of the season.
Well, that's what I was going to say. For a bullpen guy, they're not like starters where you have to build up their arm strength. What do you think they need? Maybe 4 appearances, maybe 5 appearances to be ready for their games?
Yeah, if all goes well right now with what we're looking at, you know, we're looking at possibly 6 games for each of them, 6-7 games. So
there
should be ample enough for both of them to get themselves ready for the start of the year.
Well, as Dribble Cabrera lifts one to fairly deep left, this should tie the game, and it will as Hanahan tags. He'll come home, and it's a 7-7 ball game as Cabrera picks up his second RBI of the day. Well, Scott, thanks so much for stopping by and spending a few minutes with us this inning. Best of luck to you this year. We appreciate the time.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for having me, guys.
You got it. Scott Radinsky, Indians' new pitching coach this year, formerly the bullpen coach. And as we mentioned, this is going to be a very smooth transition. He is so well respected by the pitchers on this team, and I think it's for a number of reasons. One, he's been there, and because he's been there, not only is he a coach, but he has great empathy and understanding what they're going through on a day-to-day basis, when the guys are doing well, when they're not doing well, when they're pitching, when they're not pitching.
Yeah, he's paid his dues. He'll earn his respect, and, you know, just it should be a good year for him. Uh-oh. Trying to get an out anyway. Well, here they are. The Indians battled back from a 7-0 deficit. It's all tied at 7-7. As a pitching coach, you like that when your starter goes out and gets rocked for 6 in the third. The one guy, and it always happens, Matt, we talk about it all year long. When you fall behind early, you need someone out of the bullpen to come out and keep you in the ball game, and Gomez did that, and it's given him an opportunity to come back into the game.
Now Ezekiel Carrera with a stolen base, and so he's in the scoring position. Go ahead run just 90 feet away. Fly ball gets him home, and now they're just going to walk Chad Huffman intentionally to load him up with 1 out.
There you go. Carrera can run a little bit, gets the foot in there, takes the double play away, but they're going to go ahead and put Huffman on to bring the double play back in order. Nick Weglars
will bat in Travis Hafner's spot, his first AB of the day. So here comes Nick Weglars. Weglars still only 24 years old, but he has just been snake bitten by the injury bug. He didn't start the year until June 5th after he tore cartilage in his left knee last spring. Takes a look at the ball inside. And he also had tendonitis later in the season. And he got hit by a bat that was thrown and broke some bones in his face. A left elbow strain. I mean, it seemed like anything and everything went wrong for him last year.
From A to Z.
Swung on and missed. 1-1. Nick was a third-round pick back in 2005. Canadian native. And a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Just a little bit inside, and it's 2-2. Weglars hammers it. Center field. Long run. Beltre's there. Makes the catch. Tagging at third is Marson. He comes home with a go-ahead run. 8-7 Cleveland. They've scored 2 runs in each of the last 4 innings now to take the lead. And on that play, Ezekiel Carrera tagged at second and moved to third base. So Weglars comes in. His first at bat of the game, does the job.
Couple of sac flies. We got to find Spilborghs now. Talk to him. We thought he was instant offense. He got it rolling early.
That's right. He got it started with the 2 runs. Double play kind of short-circuited what had the makings of a really big inning. But during the regular season, what the Indians have done is what you have to do when you fall behind early. Put up zeros every inning on the pitching side, and offensively you just peck away and keep the pressure on.
Well, it holds true no matter what game you play. When you fall behind early, someone's got to finally put some zeros on the board. And you know, you see it throughout the course of the year. It certainly works out, but the Indians are going to be able to take the lead.
2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, 2 more here in the sixth. It's now Cleveland 8, Texas 7. Back here in Goodyear, the Indians now have an 8-7 lead over the Rangers. And a lot of the credit goes to Genmar Gomez with 3 scoreless 1-hit innings. And now they'll go to Zach McAllister to pitch the 7th inning. And a host of changes behind him defensively. First, Michel Hernandez has taken over for Lou Marson behind the plate. got at third base Andy LaRoche. Juan Diaz has taken over at short. Ryan Spilborghs, who we spoke with earlier, is in left. The only original starter is Jose Lopez, still in the game at first base. He fields the low throw from McAllister for out number 1.
Thank you. Get one pitch, one out.
And now coming up is Greg Miklat. Bats for Jarvis Solarte. Looks at a ball down low.
Well, McAllister, he's another guy vying for the number 5 spot, along with Gomez. David Huff
beats it into the ground, and it trickles foul.
Kevin Slowey. There's about the 4 guys that are looking at that number 5 spot in the rotation.
Well, McAllister's an interesting guy. He's 6'6". But not an overpowering pitcher. He's a sinker baller. Tries to get it to.
Well, he had a couple stints last year. The first couple times he came up, he knew he was coming up for one start. You know, he got roughed up early. But then his last couple of starts, he settled in. You know, and did a nice job.
Well, look, at AAA last year, he was 12-3 with a .332 earned run average. So, I mean, he's obviously got some talent. And now it's just a matter of, as you said, at the big league level, getting it to work for him so that he can continue to build on that confidence.
Well, yes, when you get to the big leagues, the hitters are a little different than down in AAA, but that's just all part of it. Younger guys, sometimes it takes them a little longer. There's a fastball. Just a matter of believing. He came up from the Yankees, got it from the Yankees organization, you know, in a trade. So he's a young man, he's a big guy, and he certainly can help a ball club out.
David Murphy 0 for 3. Now McAllister with a 2-1 pitch. Right back to the screen.
Good hustle.
Wide of the mark and a walk. Keeps the inning alive. Hey, the Texas Rangers got out to a big lead early today in that third inning. Jarvis Solarte with a 2-run homer. And it was 7-0 in favor of the Rangers. But Lou Marson led the Indians comeback. He drove in 2 runs in the 4th inning. Jason Kipnis with a 2-run double. And the Indians have battled back to take an 8-7 lead. A little bit inside. Connor Jackson 0 for 3 on the day. Center field. Carrera makes the catch, and that'll end the inning. So another scoreless frame for Indians pitching. Stretch time in Goodyear. 8-7 Indians. man's all decked out. Got the jersey, got the cap. I'm pretty official right there. 8-7 Tribe, bottom of the 7th inning. Tanner Shepard's coming on to pitch now. Last year at AAA. All right, let's take a look at some more changes. David Murphy, who had gone the distance to this point and left, is now replaced by Joey Butler. Gregorio Petit, his first at bat of the afternoon. Up the middle, and it's through. Now, Darvish made the start today for Texas. Struggled early a little bit, with his command. Walked to the first 2 hitters he faced, but they were both thrown out trying to steal.
Right, but showed the good stuff.
Yeah, struck out 3 in the first 2 frames, and then in the 3rd inning, he allowed 2 runs, but got a double play ball to get out of what could have been a big inning for the Tribe. Ryan Spilborghs now sends a double play ball to second, and a 4-6-3 twin killer. So now Andy LaRoche gets his first at bat of the day. Jack Hanahan had a nice day at the plate. Couple of hits, 2 runs scored. Banged foul, third base side. Our next telecast will come your way Thursday. And the Indians will host the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, we're halfway through our spring schedule right now. And then we'll do a couple next week. What, Monday and Wednesday?
Yeah, those games will be against the Dodgers and the Giants.
Well, sure, we've got to finish up the National League West. Tomorrow we get another American League team, and that's it.
Bouncer to short.
For Thursday.
Luis Hernandez throws out LaRoche, and we go to the 8th. It's the Indians 8 and the Rangers 7. 8-7 Tribe, 8th inning here in Goodyear. Actually saw there was a chance of a cloud in the forecast in the next coming days.
There's a couple of wispy clouds up there.
It's been spectacular weather here in the Southwest. Talking to Tom Hamilton, Indians longtime radio announcer, as Brad Hopp breaks his back but singles to right field to start the 8th inning. He drove to New Mexico to watch his son Nick, who plays for Kent State University. They had a spring trip over there and said it was beautiful weather there, but he said, boy, you drive from here to New Mexico, there's a whole lot of nothing out there on the way.
Well, think about it. You drive about 110. It's flat and straight.
Yeah. Just so unique for those of us who, and you're included. I mean, growing up in the Midwest where we're from, to see mountains like this and to be that close to them, it's something really, it just kind of draws you in.
Well, I first
almost like a country bumpkin that goes to the big city for the first time. You stand there and stare at the tall buildings.
Yeah.
That's what the mountains do to you out here.
Well, I got a taste of it when I was a kid coming to spring training in Tucson, because we were the only team in Tucson at the time, and every trip when we were on the road we had to come to Phoenix. But there was Picacho Peak about an hour outside of Tucson. We'd see it from Phoenix and we say, okay, when we get there we know we got an hour to go to get back to Tucson. So yeah, it is pretty strange seeing the mountains.
A couple of singles to start the 8th inning, and back come the Rangers now. They have not scored since the 3rd inning, but they've got it set up now to come right back and potentially tie or take the lead. Angel Beltre 0 for 2. An RBI triple in the 2nd. Sacrifice fly drove in a run in the 3rd. He squares. He bunts. McAllister will go to 3rd. They got him.
Nice play.
Very nicely done.
You know, normally in that situation you go ahead and you want to make sure you get it out. He's out. There's double play.
How about that? He left first base, so the batter's out. What in the world happened to him?
You know, normally you just want to get your one out, and I thought that McAllister was going to go to first, but no, he decides to go to 3rd. Obviously, whoever called the play was right.
Did Beltre think the ball was foul? Where was he going?
I don't know, but he left first base to go around, so it's a double play. I mean, I didn't see him unless somebody tricked him, but there's Washington saying, well, hey, son, you got to stay on the bag. Where are you going? So a huge play right there.
Let's take another look.
Well, he was already up, but McAllister throws back because somebody was yelling at him.
Where
but he
was he going?
I don't know.
He was going back to the dugout.
He might have thought they threw to first base because maybe somebody, pounded their glove, or who knows. But obviously he didn't have his head in the game because he started to run in. And over at first base, Gary Pettis is not going to say anything because he would at least think that he realized that they went to 3rd.
Bounce to first. Another nice play. Lopez has done a nice job over there defensively at first base today. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Zach Mack gets out of a jam. 8-7 Cleveland.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
All right, here we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. And for the Indians, Michelle Hernandez will lead off, the number 9 hitter. Left-hander Robbie Ross coming into the ball game.
What? Who's heading in? Yeah.
I tell you what, it's amazing. They have this travel roster that they run. Half these guys aren't on the travel roster.
Of course not. They don't fill it up. It's made from probably 3 days ago. Everything's subject to change.
That's right. Spring training is a fluid situation.
You just go with the flow. It doesn't matter. What number is he? Okay, he's out there. Call him by his number.
It reminds me of a game we did at the end of spring training the one year. It was back when the Astros were opening up their new ballpark in Houston. And they took the big league club with them to go play an exhibition game right at the end of spring training in Houston. So we went to Kissimmee to face the entire minor league organization of the Astros. There were no media notes. There weren't rosters. We didn't know who any of these guys were.
Start calling them by number, that's all. Well, this guy at least has a name on the back of his jersey.
Right. We know who he is.
Absolutely.
And we know who Michelle Hernandez is. Last year, good year at Double-A Akron. Big hopper to third. And that's out number 1.
I was telling you earlier about the savings you can get on the flex plans presented by Discount Drug Mart. Come on out for the bobblehead, jersey giveaways, many other special events throughout the season. You can log on to Indians.com or go to Discount Drug Mart locations, or you can call 216-420-HITS.
Robbie Ross is only 22 years old. And a left-hander is in his first big league camp. He won the Carolina League ERA title last year. Named pitcher of the year. Bouncing ball to second. And Carrera is thrown out. 2 down. And Juan Diaz a swing and a miss. Quickly 0-2. Juan Diaz was part of the trade package that came from the Seattle Mariners in exchange for Russell Branyan 2 years ago. It was both Diaz and Ezekiel Carrera who the Indians got for Branyan. Diaz down on 3 pitches and will go to the 9th inning with the Indians up 8-7. 8-7 Cleveland, ninth inning here in Goodyear. 25-year-old Chin Chang Lee, Taiwan native, will come on and try to close it out for the Indians. Pitched in 44 games last year. 23 of those were at Akron, where he had a 2-1 record and a 2.50 ERA. He was even better at AAA Columbus. In 21 games there, he was 4-0 with a 2.27 earned run average. What's more, he had 56 strikeouts and 39 2/3 at Akron, 43 strikeouts and 31 2/3 at Columbus.
You like that? You like the ratio?
He was a member of the 2008 Taiwan Olympic team that competed in Beijing. Pitched in 2 Olympic games and had an ERA of just 2. Pitched against the Cuban national team. He went 6 2/3 innings in a starting role and allowed 1 run and 3 hits and 7 strikeouts. Of course, the Cuban team is always pretty solid. So
oh, yes, indeed.
Now pitching the ninth inning here in Goodyear. Line foul, 1-1.
Nice plate on there by a youngster with a glove. One hop to line drive.
At the knees for a called strike. Boy, 93 miles an hour, keeping it down in the strike zone. Ooh. Slider that he was able to check, didn't go around.
Yeah, and he went out there with a good fastball, get to 2 strikes, trying to get him to chase that slider, and teases him off the plate. It's a good pitch, but he didn't go after it. It was out of the zone.
Same pitch, same result.
See, that's a pitch a lot of times. Never facing him before. Younger hitters may chase after that pitch. You get up into the big league level, and guys have a tendency to lay off of it.
Payoff to Brandon Snyder. Same pitch, and he still won't chase after it. And a leadoff walk.
Well, let's look at the pitch. It's a fastball, and it's right there. That's a good pitch. That's a strike. I'm sorry. He went right at it, down and away where he got the call earlier. It wasn't low, and it had the dish, so did not get the call. That's too close to take right there.
Kyle Hudson chops it to third. LaRoche grabs it, goes to first, got him.
How about that play?
That's a terrific play by LaRoche to get him out.
No question. I mean, he's cheating in, thinking maybe bunt. They tried it last inning. They ended up getting a double play ball. This guy chops it and has a chance to get it over his head, but he gets back, makes the tough catch, and then a good strong throw. Good play. I mean, he realized he had not a lot of time to get rid of it. Even though that tying run does move into scoring position, that's a good play to get one out.
Now for the Rangers, it works like a bunt, but if he doesn't get that out at first, now you bunt him to second and third, and now you're in trouble.
That's a double if he doesn't catch that ball, because it wasn't hit hard enough in left field. I'm saying he goes to third base. It's probably second and third, because that was just a high chopper.
Here's Greg Miklat. Lost the bat, fouled it back to the screen. 1-1 to count. We're in the ninth. 8-7, Cleveland on top. Now Lee ahead of Mick, a ball and 2 strikes. Low and inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Right through the middle, and that will tie the game. Mick delivers, and the Rangers tie it at 8 here in the ninth.
Well, gets the ground ball, finds a hole. You go back to that 3-2 pitch, call the ball, and then you walk the leadoff man, and ends up coming around to score. So the Rangers, that's the first time they've scored since their 6-run 3rd inning. So a new ball game here at 8.
Joey Butler. You go back to that leadoff hitter, and Lee had him down on the count, a couple of strikes. Couldn't get him to chase the sliders, and then
Well, made a good 3-2 pitch.
Yeah,
just
sure
didn't
did.
get a call. You know, unfortunately, you got to say it's a walk, but he made a good pitch. But he ended up getting on first base, and then a nice play by LaRoche and a base hit. So for young pitchers, you have to stay aggressive and make them put the ball in play.
Ooh,
Like he had
he sure did. Mick called safe, but nearly picked off by Lee. Lee with a step off. Hernandez going to go out to the mound. Indians are back on Sports Time Ohio on Thursday here in Goodyear. They take on the Chicago White Sox. It'll be a 4 o'clock Eastern start. Two balls and a strike. Swing and a miss. Now, I know these are mostly minor league guys, but when you look back at last year, the Texas Rangers, as that ball is hit right back to Lee. And only plays at first, and that's out number 2. Go ahead run in a scoring position now for Texas. But last year, Rick, only the Detroit Tigers had a better on-base percentage than the Texas Rangers when it came to leading off an inning. So not just their leadoff hitter, but when it comes to leading off an inning, each and every inning, that first guy. The Texas Rangers had a combined .348 on-base percentage. And that's how you score a lot of runs.
Well,
you get
especially
the first guy
that
on.
team, that's a hitting team, and we talked about it last year, contagious. Boy, if you can get the first couple of guys out, great. But you don't want to give them any base runners. You don't want to walk anybody. So if you make them hit their way on. But, boy, it seems like once they do get that leadoff man aboard, they are very contagious. They make things happen.
Now, just to give you an idea, at the other end of the spectrum, only the Seattle Mariners had a lower on-base percentage than the Indians when it came to leading off an inning.
Okay.
Indians on-base percentage in that category was .287.
And doesn't surprise me because the Seattle Mariners scored less runs. I mean, they struggled to score runs as well.
So you can draw a pretty direct correlation. You get that leadoff man aboard, a much, much better chance of scoring. We're tied at 8, bottom of the ninth next. Back here in Goodyear, we go to the bottom of the ninth inning, tied at 8.
Now look, and he's saying if we don't score, we will play 10. So in other words, they're going to go one more inning if the Indians do not score here. Now, a lot of times, you know, you go with innings or if you have pitchers. So obviously both teams have one more pitcher left in their bullpen that they can use.
Chad Huffman going to lead off for the Indians. Mitch Stetter, 31-year-old left-hander. Kind of an interesting delivery. He's 6'4". Big guy, but he comes really across his body.
Geez, you're thinking he throws from first base.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't be over to any farther extreme than the right-hand side. It looks like his heel is touching the end of the rubber on the first base side.
Swung on and missed. Chad Huffman trying to get it started for the Indians.
Hey, not too hard now. Stay behind him.
Off-speed pitch away, and it's 2-2. Nick Weglars waits on deck. Here in the bottom of the ninth in Goodyear. Rounded to short, backhanded. Long throw in time. Hernandez made a nice play. Erased the potential leadoff man for the Indians. Here's Nick Weglars. Drove in a run with a sacrifice fly his first time up back in the 6th. the corner. Just missed, not by much.
Yeah, this guy's got to be a little tougher to pick up from the left side of the plate.
Off the end of the bat, back foul. Weglars hit 16 homers in 105 games with Akron back in 09. His best year from a power standpoint was in 07 in Lake County. Belted 23 homers in 125 games.
Well, his problem, injuries, as you mentioned earlier when he first came up for that first at bat. It's just a matter of he hasn't been able to stay healthy. The walking wounded.
Yeah, back in 2009, he had a stress fracture that they had to insert a rod into his left tibia. He tore the ligament in his right thumb sliding into a base in 2010. Draws a walk. One out base runner here in the bottom of the ninth. And now Jose Lopez. He's gone the distance today. Normally you don't see
a pinch runner here.
Starters make it all the way through a spring training game. Jason Donald will run for Nick Weglar.
Yeah, absolutely. I was waiting. I saw bench coach Sandy Alomar in there trying to make a call. They wanted some time out. You got to run for him. Chance to win the game. Weglars did his job of getting on base.
Caught the corner. Oh, this is one of those spots if you're Jason Donald. You make the club as an extra guy, utility man. This comes under part of the job description. Pinch run.
Yeah, not that you're going to try and steal a base in this situation, but you could possibly score on a ball hitting the gap.
Sky high pop. And the center fielder grabs it for out number 2. So Gregorio Petit, who singled in the 7th, will bat here with 2 down and the winning run at first base.
Okay.
2 years ago, Petit spent the entire year in the Texas Rangers organization, playing in Oklahoma City. Petit sat out all of last year. He was actually intent on going to spring training with San Diego. He had an invitation to go, but he hurt his knee during winter ball with Caracas. And so he had to sit out the entire year. He's played 25 games in the big leagues, all with the Oakland Athletics. Interesting note in his bio, it says he was originally signed by Julio Franco. Can only be one, right?
Well, Julio's 75, so I don't know. He may still be playing somewhere around the world. Julio Franco, well, I don't know. I don't know what Julio played.
Did he moonlight as a scout? Maybe he was signed on a recommendation of Julio Franco.
Right.
Here's the set. Runner goes. It's outside, ball 4, and the Indians have 2 on, 2 out, and the veteran Ryan Spilborghs with a chance to win it now in the bottom of the 9th.
Now he's going to go back to his pen and bring in his right-hander. Well, Spilborghs was telling us earlier, tell his wife Stacy, put up a quality at bat. Now he wants the hit. It can end the game. Go home a hero.
Ron Washington will make the change. So we've got a timeout here in the bottom of the 9th in Goodyear. Tie ball game 8-8. We'll be back with the conclusion coming up next. Bottom of the 9th, Tribe with 2 on and 2 out. Texas goes back to the bullpen. Ron Washington calling on Ramon Mendez. Right-hander to face Ryan Spilborghs.
Well, a young pitcher getting an opportunity to try and get himself out of a jam. He pitched an A ball last year. So the Indians can win the game with a base hit. A couple of walks. Set this inning up.
Now the winning run in the form of Jason Donald at second base. Ryan Spilborghs, who was our lengthy guest back in the bottom of the 3rd inning. He knows that he's in a situation where he's got to win a job on this ball club. And I asked him, about track record, the fact he's been around, he's had some success. If that had a bearing, he said, no, not really. It's a what have you done for me lately kind of mentality. But if anything, that track record, they have certain notions on what he can do.
Yeah, they have an idea. There's no question. He's just, as he said, his free agency, he didn't feel it was going to go the way it came about. So he's been around long enough and around the big leagues. He knows how to approach it. I like his attitude about it. He realized I got to go out and win the job, period.
Mendez, meanwhile, pretty good velocity on this fastball. 1-1 the count. Up too high.
Come on, Ryan, make it pitch, do you?
Well, now you figure a kid coming out of A ball, you got to look for the fastball in this count. He talked about getting fastballs to hit, wasn't able to do it last year because of his plantar fasciitis. Well, here you go. Get one here and give it a rip.
Fouls it into the Texas dugout. Well, and he talked about that too. When you get that fastball, you got to put it in play. You got to hammer it.
Well, that was a little two seamer. That had some movement to it. Yeah, it did.
A little late movement.
Well, I mean, you're not used to facing a guy. You don't know what his fastball does. That one had a little movement coming in.
Now a 2-2 count. 2 on. 2 out. Last of the ninth. Tied at 8. A ground ball to short. We've got extra innings in Goodyear. We'll play at least one more. Tied at 8.
All bets are off.
Tenth inning in Goodyear, tied at 8. Coming on for the Indians now to pitch, Hector Ambriz. 34 games back in 2010. Had Tommy John surgery. Said he knew there was something wrong with that elbow. He tried to pitch through it, and eventually the ligament just blew. And he had the surgery. Now he feels much better. Feels like he can throw the ball where he wants to and has some good action on it. Now it's just a matter of
building up the arm
strength, back,
locating. Yeah. Now it's another process. You got through the surgery, you got through the rehab. Now it's a matter of getting the command and throwing it like you once did.
Indians had an 8-7 lead going into the ninth. Chen Chang Lee on a very close pitch. He thought it was strike 3. Umpire called it ball 4. And then very next hitter almost bounced one over LaRoche's head at third. He did a good job just to get it out. Tying run goes into scoring position, though. And the little worm burner up the middle brings home the tying run. And so we now play on. Brad Hopp will lead off for Texas in the 10th. Down in the dirt. Texas last year had a heck of a playoff run. They opened the postseason against the Tampa Bay Rays. And in game 1, the Rays trounced them 9-0. Rangers came back to even it at a game apiece, then took a 2-1 lead and then won it in game 4, closed it out. And they went on to the ALCS against the Detroit Tigers. And that was a pretty good series too. They wound up winning in 6 games. And the last game was pretty much a laugher, with Texas winning it 15-5. They banged out 17 hits, hit a 9-run third inning.
Yeah. Well,
you don't see a lot of that in postseason baseball.
No, but if any team is capable, it certainly is the Rangers.
And then came the epic World Series.
Yeah, it was a good one. What were they? One strike away 2 times of winning the World Series in Game 6.
And talk about that, the beating they put on Detroit in the ALCS. Well, St. Louis did it to them in the World Series in Game 3. They beat the Rangers 16-7. That's when Albert Pujols went 5 for 6 with 3 homers and 6 ribbies.
Yep, had a whale of a game. There's that
Another leadoff walk. Brad Hopp exits for a pinch runner, and that is Gilder Rodriguez. Takes over.
Well, this kid is young. I thought they sent the bat boy out to get his gloves or something.
Luis Martinez with a bunt. Ambriz throws him out. Go ahead run into scoring position now for Texas. And now Angel Beltre with a chance to put Texas ahead. He already has 2 RBIs in the game. Texas last year became the 4th American League team to ever lose back-to-back World Series.
Now we're going to get an intentional walk.
First team to, or the last team to do it was the 63-64 Yankees. Yankees also did it, losing back-to-back World Series in 1921 and 1922. And the first team to do it was the Detroit Tigers, who lost 3 straight World Series in 1907 through 1909.
That's hard to do.
Interesting also, Rick, it's the 19th time in World Series history that a team lost the series, went ahead 3-2 in the best-of-7 format.
Well, it was theirs. I mean, they saw the end in sight. I couldn't figure it out when they had that opportunity. They took their closer out in the extra innings. Neftali Feliz, after they tied it up, they didn't send him back out there, and they scored another run.
So 2 on with 1 out. Alberto Gonzalez. Breaking ball in for a strike. Also of note in that World Series last year, Mike Napoli did something that hadn't been done since Sandy Alomar Jr. in 1997. Had 10 RBIs in that World Series. Bounced on the ground, slowly hit towards second. They go to second for the force there. Throw back, not in time. Boy, they were close to getting out of the inning. As it stands, there are 2 down with runners at the corners.
Yeah, Petit turned it nicely with Diaz. He got it over to him quickly. That's a long throw, but they made it awfully close. Bang, bang at first base keeps the inning alive.
Here is Brandon Snyder. 1-1 the count. Brandon Snyder's dad, Brian, was a left-handed pitcher for the Seattle Mariners. Appeared briefly with the Mariners in '85 and briefly with the Oakland A's in '89. High and foul and out of play. First and third, 2 down, 1-2 pitch up the middle. Backhanded by Petit. He'll go to first, and that'll end the inning. The Rangers threaten, they do not score. We'll go to the bottom of the 10th. This game will come to a conclusion one way or the other when we return. Bottom of the 10th inning in Goodyear, Arizona, tied at 8. Texas had a 7-0 lead going into the bottom of the 3rd in this game, but the Indians clawed their way back to tie it, then eventually take the lead, only to watch Texas tie it in the top of the 9th. Brandon Snyder is at first base. You saw Gilbert Rodriguez also staying in the ball game.
Well, we figure this is going to be the last half of the inning, should the Indians score or not.
Yep.
So if they can score, they can put a W on the board instead of a tie. They do play for ties in spring training at times, or to a tie.
This will be our last telecast of an American League Western Division team against the Tribe. So what do you think? Did the addition of Albert Pujols and C.J. Wilson do enough for the Angels to overtake Texas?
It's going to be interesting. I'll tell you what, they certainly did strengthen themselves. It should be fun. I think offensively, Texas, they're second to none. They won't hold the backseat to anybody when it comes offensively. Both teams are going to be very, very good. It should be a dogfight out there in the West between the Angels and the Rangers.
3-0 count here. Tribe trying to get that leadoff man aboard.
I mean, when you look at it, I mean, the Rangers, they've got solid pitching too. Even though they did lose C.J. Wilson, I never thought C.J. Wilson was a #1 starter.
Well, this is what the Angels did in the offseason. I mean,
they got the biggest free agent around, Albert Pujols, okay? And they get a catcher in Iannetta, and they get a starting pitcher to go with a very good starting staff with C.J. Wilson. You don't worry about those losses. Those additions were very good, and, you know, it's going to help. They needed an RBI guy in there in the middle part of their lineup.
Aaron Cunningham will pinch run for LaRoche. I agree with you, though, Rick. I think the Rangers pitching, in particular their starting pitching, is just a little bit better than the Angels. And will that be enough to make the difference? I don't know.
Well, the bullpens, too. Look at the bullpens. I mean, because Texas goes out, they signed Joe Nathan to close games.
I like their bullpen better, definitely.
Is Feliz going to be, you know, the starter?
Oh,
double play.
What a pick at third, and they turn two. About as tailor-made as it gets on the around the horn 5-4-3 double play.
Yeah, good play. Right at him, a little short hop. Hit right on the nose, right to him. They turn it. They get the ground ball double play they were looking for. Texas is still the team to beat. I don't care. I mean, they've been in the World Series 2 straight years. It's definitely a good ball club. They are going to be the team to beat.
Carrera rounds out to end the game. And this one ends in an 8-8 tie. Well, the positive thing for the Indians is they fell behind in a 7-0 hole. And after the way a lot of the early spring is gone, this looked like it might be another ugly one for the Indians. But boy, they scratched, clawed, and fought, and got back into the ball game.
Well, they did, and you like that. They needed to do that because they haven't been scoring runs, but Kipnis gets a nice 2-run double off a left-handed pitcher. You know, so good things did happen. Genmar Gomez was very good today. He's the one that kept him in the ball game, put zeros on the board, allowed the offense to bring him back in, and they just kept pecking away. Unfortunately, the run that Texas scored in the 9th was able to tie the game, but I'll tell you what, it was some positive things to take away from today's ball game if you're Manny Acta. Even though Texas Rangers didn't bring their A game, still, when you're down 7-0, you're able to come back and tie it. It's a good deal. It's a good day's work.
No question about it. Good ball game today here in Goodyear. It ends with an 8-8 tie, and we'll see the Texas Rangers next when the regular season rolls around here in 2012. We'll be back with you Thursday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when the Tribe takes on the Chicago White Sox. For Rick Manning and all of our talented and hard-working crew and staff here in Goodyear, I'm Matt Underwood. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Thursday.